Hi, everybody. Welcome to another poker coaching study session. This is a cash game study session where we get to see everybody's cards face up, so we get to see just how wrong I played. We are playing NL 200 on Ignition, and we're now going to switch this back from dollars to big blinds because Larry is a doofus. Hello, Larry. All right. Show chips and big blinds. All
It
right.
feels like Monday, doesn't it?
It does. Here's the last hand. This is the last hand we reviewed
You're
last.
doing that for Larry? I thought you do that for me.
I do. I do it for me, really. This is where we ended last week. We do this every week on Mondays at 11:15 Pacific time. Come join us if you want. It's free. And as we saw, I raised to 2.5, got 3-bet by aces. I'm going to call here, even if he turned over and showed me his aces, to set mine at 100 big blinds deep. My set mine doesn't go through. Check, bet, fold. And now we go to the next hand. This is a new one. All right. The nines should open. The ace-6 suited should just fold. The king-8 suited should fold, and no one should defend. If you're a tournament player, you may think this is crazy that the ace-6 suited folds, but just to show you here in cash game things, and we're going to change this to the 6 max just for fun. Oh, we don't have the 6 max. Oh, yeah, we do. 6 max just for fun to do this. You'll see that once the under the gun opens at all, we've got no calling range here. And ace-6 suited can 3-bet, but it's thin. You want to be the ace-9 and better, and then a little bit of your wheel aces. And the ace-6 doesn't fit that well. The compromise, what I expect to see, by the way, is I expect to see nines open and ace-6 flat behind it. And then the king-8 suited flat also. That's what I expect to see. Raise, nope, good for them. And everybody played it right. 3-deuce fold, 3-3 can raise or fold, it's choice. If they're a bad player, we expect to see them call. This is 1-2, so I don't think we're gonna see that kind of a mistake. We'll find out. And then it just folds around to the big blind.
That's neat. Actually, way less mistakes here.
That's what we're seeing. Yeah, compared to what we've been looking at. We've been looking at the $50 9-person game, and we've been seeing lots and lots of mistakes. So far here, things are okay. Fold, 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 fold. There we go. Look at everybody play the way we expect them to. Fold, fold, fold. Raise the king-4 suited on the button, and it should get through. Yep, there we go. Right. Fold, fold, fold. 10-3 suited is a fold. But if he wanted to exploitatively raise it, I wouldn't. That would be fine. And he doesn't. Fold, fold. This king-9 suited is a mandatory open. That's not even close to not opening. And it should get through. And he goes to 3 big blinds. We'll notice if he always does 3 big blinds, this is our 11-30 for 3. And 10-9 should not defend, unlike in a tournament where you would defend that, I think.
Yeah, that's a rake.
That's a mandatory defend.
I would think. But also the king-9 wouldn't be opening to 3 big. Well, at 100, if you're 100 big blinds deep in a tournament, he's going to open to 3 big blinds. Yeah. So he's still going to defend it. All right. 5-4 suited, not mandatory, but I would open this all the time in that position, all the time. And he does. Oh, he limps. All right. Here's our first compromise for it. This is not going to bite him in the butt too badly. The king-7 probably should not complete.
No, it's all barely an open if no one limped.
Yeah, I don't think that's, he should not. But good for the 7-3. Good for him. That's just good.
Taking advantage of the limper.
Right. Now,
See how good this guy is with his follow through here.
Right. Now, this is theoretically wrong. And I'm just going to repeat this so everybody gets to hear it. And also, Greg, this is a thing that Joey taught us, which is when thinking about this squeeze range against limpers, you can simplify this and just say my squeeze range will be my standard opening range 2 seats earlier against 1 limper. So if you'll open it in the hijack here, you squeeze it against the limper. And this is so far off that. But if you've really tagged this limper as linear, going to be weak, even if he calls, he's gonna play straight up, he's gonna play face up after the flop. If that's true, your cards don't matter at all. They just don't matter. As long as they get through the blinds. And if they don't matter, 7-3 suited are cards. From the back, they look like they're two cards, so
Basically, if you think he's a passive fish, then
exactly. So good for him. Let's see how it goes. There's the call, which if you're gonna limp 5-4 suited, you better call there.
Yeah.
Raised 5-4 suited there and you got 3-bet, you should be doing some calling, I would think. Let's confirm that in the wizard, if you guys don't mind.
I think
Yeah.
that GTO Wizard really likes to call these
Yeah.
suited connectors, these low suited connectors.
Cut up raise, he raises the 5-4 suited when he he's got it there, not at a high frequency, but he's got it. I'm sorry, he's got it not at a high frequency, but he's got it. And then the button, as we can see, the 7-3 suited is clearly a 3-bet. That's obvious. That's what the blue is. And we come back to the cutoff with his 5-4, pure call.
That's what the blue is meaning. Swimming in the pool. Swimming in the
Exactly.
Can
Swimming
you
with,
show what the, sorry.
Yeah.
Can you show what the EV of calling is there? Can you just
Sure.
show the EV tag real quick?
sure, I can depress you. There you go. 0.22. I mean,
Yeah,
it's good. And look at how the 8-7 goes all the way down to 0.05 because the 8-7 can be dominated. He has
yeah.
the
Ace
button
eight,
got
probably.
some 8.
Ace 8, eights.
He's got these there.
Actually, he has also ace 5, huh? He has more
Right.
eights.
Right. But he has the 8-8 and the 7-7. He has the 8-8 there when he doesn't have the 5-5. He has the 8-8 more than the ace. So we were 7-8, right? He has 8-8 and ace-7 more often than he has ace-6 and ace-5. Nah, not really.
Ace 5 and ace 4 is
Ace-5 and ace-4. Yeah, he's got it. But he doesn't have the
it's
5.
the pairs need. It's the pairs.
Yeah, it's the pair difference. Yeah. So that's where that comes in. And we're back to this hand.
Probably
So-
also 6, 7, 8. He has 10, 9 maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, our straights can be, yeah. Our 4-5 when it makes a straight, 6, 7, 8. The
Can be
9, 10,
dominated.
when the 7-8 makes a straight, 9, 10, jack, he's all over the top end of that. Okay. So good for him. And now the 7-3 should just follow through, and that's why it works.
That's a big bet.
He's a little bit afraid of not wanting to encourage any floats. He doesn't want to give the guy even a thought of floating.
Yeah.
This is the kind of mistake that I would make. And I would feel fine with it. Yeah, better play. That's
Let's
That's
keep an eye on
why,
villain
uh,
1131 and
get
see if he has fancy play going forward.
right. Good idea. Yep. Okay. We already have some information here that we would not have playing at the table. These are not things we'd really know, other than that, the limp. That's what we would see. That's the only tag we would get. All right. Ace-10 should raise and hero should defend by calling, not by 3-betting 7s. There's the raise and there is the call. Let's see if I'm right about the 7s. This is a hijack raise, right?
Yeah, I think it flats.
Hijack
but
raise,
I don't
big
know.
blind. There's gonna be some raising. in-
Suited connectors maybe that the race, but
Oh, hold on, big blind, there we go. Yeah, so the raises in that region are your suited connectors. And this was true of the old poker coaching ranges too. You get raises here more than you get them with the pairs.
yeah.
And look at how jacks plays. That is so counterintuitive to the old days of play. Look at how often jacks does not 3-bet out of the big blind there.
If he calls, you can be dominated.
I know. Yeah. So here we go.
Or
Fours,
dominated.
5, 6s,
ace queen,
yeah.
etc.
Yep. All of your suited connectors here can 3-bet at about quarter frequency. And just there's just no reason to turn these pairs into 3-bets unless unless you see that his fold to 3-bet range number is huge and then just do it with anything.
What I also find remarkable is that ace deuce to ace 6 can, and king deuce to king 6 can 3-bet.
Yeah.
Almost any position.
And yeah, and with high frequency. Decent frequency. of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a
Because
good
you have it's because you have a blocker.
Yeah. You have a blocker and
blocker to the massive.
and you
continue.
can make a nut hand with suited.
And what's these queens here? Why the queens?
The queens are to fold off the better offsuit stuff that opens from so a lot of like the king
Sleeping?
X. We
Okay.
don't block any of the like we get a better king to fold.
Right.
We get a king or an ace to fold.
Right, but
Um,
we don't save ourselves from, we're not limiting his aces, kings and ace king with this, but those four bet us and we just fold.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah, but we, on the other hand, we
let's see if I can make it to the river with this hand. I don't think I can without the 7 of diamonds. I think I fold to a continuation bet. Let's see what happens. Whoops,
Whoa.
wrong. There we go. All right, I check range here. He bets small. And if I have the 7 of diamonds, I have to continue, I think. Without the 7 of diamonds, 5, 6, 7, 8. I like that. I like the 5 and 8.
It's really bad that you have a spade here.
Yeah.
Oh, my spade is, why is my spade bad? I know that my lack of diamond is bad. Why is my spade bad?
Your spade's bad because you want him to have a spade.
I want him to be betting his backdoor flush.
Correct.
Okay,
A7, 7-6.
7-6. Yeah, there's a bunch of things in range that you just would want him to be betting that like you contain the middle
Not a bunch, yeah.
the middle backdoor flush draw, the middle of the
Yeah, but
backdoor flush draw and
it's only
straight draw.
A7.
Right.
It's
And-
only A7 actually.
and although I can't call here without a diamond, I can also do things I can't do. So let's lose some more money.
Perfect.
This is going to lose. I'm not going to continue now.
And
He's going to bet with his ace of diamonds and now I'm going to fold.
Yep.
All right. Don't love it.
You had a gut shot, didn't you?
I
Yeah.
picked up a gut shot, but I didn't want to continue with a gut shot when the diamonds have come in.
Because you had dirty outs.
I could have no outs.
You can have no outs.
like your straight's no good here when when the flush completes. Like
Right.
you're just dead.
Yeah.
Because
So-
unless you can make a straight flush, right? Like that's the only way you would do
Exactly.
it.
Yeah, the 7 of diamonds is both dirty and bad, but even the 7 of clubs might not make it because he could just have any flush here.
Mhm.
I can have Jack 10 even.
I mean, I probably needed to fold the flop.
Yeah, I think folding flop is probably appropriate because you don't have a diamond.
Yep.
And you
sad and
don't want
weak
a spade.
that is.
I
Are we,
agree.
do we want to run this real quick?
Sure. Yeah, let's do that one. Let's see how bad. Let's see how bad. this
Maybe
is.
there's a sliver.
I,
Come on,
I'm
find
not
a
sure
sliver.
you fold pure here. You might,
Right.
but I'm not sure.
All right.
All right, let me just run it real quick.
Okay, let's go. Yeah, let's
Go forward and I'll set it up.
and let's save my reputation here with a solver. Okay. Fold, king 9. That seems cuspy. King 9 on the button, definitely. I think this is king 10, but I'll look. Apparently it's king 9. Good for me. And is it indeed king 9? Cut off king. Yeah, plenty of it. Plenty of king
Yeah,
9.
king nine, indeed, yeah.
Look at it. Littered with king 9, half of the king 9s. That's one of the half. All right, let's see it.
All right. All right, can you see it all right?
I can now. Yep.
Real quick, I think this is kind of a neutral flop for these positions. It doesn't really, well, I guess it does benefit Hijack because he's got all the overcards. But,
53, yeah, 53-40. He's got, it was 53-47 or 50, yeah, 54-46. That's not enough for him to be able to bet range, right?
I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
Yeah,
frankly.
53-47.
I think we'd have to take, no one has a clear, he's got a nut advantage as well, but not that much.
Barely.
Even raise of donk, very small percent.
Check.
Yeah, I can't imagine he gets to bet range here.
He chose a small size, right?
Yeah, let's see his board. So
Yeah,
he's not
he's
betting
checking
range.
heavily.
He's not betting range, but he's betting across his range.
Yeah, so he chose a small size, right? Like a
Yep.
B33.
Yep.
Fours and three are checking full time.
Yeah, I wish we're not folding on any of our pairs at this point. Tries playing our sets.
Six
We'll
is
go
up.
through this quickly. Question really is what we do on turn.
Look at that though. Sevens were calling pure.
Not pure.
Yeah,
Not
we
pure.
can look
What,
at
show,
that more.
where's the fold? Where's the
Ah,
fold?
slivers of folds.
I am
Fine,
I am
diamonds.
I'm a
I saw
GTO
slivers.
wizard as of this moment.
Yeah, it's a sliver of blue.
I don't think there was actually. Let's
Yeah, there
go
is.
back. We're not,
There's a sliver.
It's a
you
sliver.
have to
Sliver. Oh, yeah, let's look at
have
this. Let's look at
particular
this.
unblockers.
Heart club. So it doesn't hate the spades. This is interesting.
Yeah, the spade is not a sliver indeed.
Yeah, let me take a look. And my hand was, okay, this is good. So I'm in there. And so Greg, did you notice that? The
Yeah.
spade was not bad.
Okay. So
I
it
was
doesn't
with, I
hate.
was with you on what it was, but
Yeah, it doesn't hate the spade.
doesn't hate the spade. What it hated was heart club. So it hated having no flush draw blocker.
No backdoor blocker.
Yeah, no, but it,
And no flush blocker.
yeah, no flush blocker, you know.
Got it. Okay. I
Yeah,
mean,
we
I
got
guess that
one
makes
blocking
sense.
the front door.
So mine was calling pure, I think.
Yeah. You're calling. So you call, turn is 9. This is what gets interesting.
That's
You don't really
5.
donk. There's a little donking. And did he B75 this?
He bets 5.
Alright, so he bets half pot, right? Let's see if that's a thing first. He definitely gets half pot here. Let's see if we can fold out a gut shot at this point. When the flush completes. Yeah, we're indifferent. We
Right.
call for blocking the flush.
Yeah, we need a diamond.
Yeah, it's 0 EV, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Let's look real
But
quick.
interesting, not only do we need a diamond, if we have a diamond, we call,
Yeah, it's a
There's
chip
no-
difference,
no folding.
so,
right?
sorry?
I said there's no folding with a diamond. It's not like a choice.
It's winning almost a chip.
Yeah.
Let's just, while we're here, let's just go over real quick what we're doing with all of our range. We have a little check raises with top of our range. Across all of our flushes. We are lucky enough to have the straight flush, slow play a lot. Sets aren't going where, top pair's still not going anywhere. Top pair here. There we go. Yeah, so anything else you guys want to see here?
Nope.
Handing it back to the boss. So
Um,
yeah, we're
over
very
the-
close with those sevens, and so
Check one thing.
having that blocker is just vital.
The jacks and the tens also needed a diamond, right? They mimicked the sevens because they were half and half
Um,
On the turn.
on turn.
Yeah.
Roll to the jacks.
Yeah, they fold half the time indeed, so they need.
Fold half the
fold.
time. I was just wondering, is it the half
Yeah,
without a diamond?
If they fold half the time, yeah, then you have to have a diamond. That's
I think so.
which combo?
Pocket
Jacks
pocket
and
jacks and
tens.
pocket tens. Yep, they look just like they look just like the sevens. Same logic.
The other question is now, since we're looking, let's see if they have, how similar their EV is. So if we have diamond here, our call is worth 7 chips, but it's only worth, that's a set, it's only worth a chip here, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That makes sense.
yeah, no worries.
They'll lose to 8s and we lose to pocket 9s and all kinds of, well, pocket 10s.
Yeah,
things.
we really want to push block.
All right, great. I'll come
Okay.
back. There we go. Come back to this board. And what that shows you people on YouTube is why I'm the one leading this session, because my play was perfect, not because I'm the one who owns a Zoom account.
I own a Zoom account.
Okay. Because I'm the one without an accent. And of course you can say,
Because you play
oh,
perfect.
you have an accent. All right. So the king 9 raises and it gets through, and that is a perfectly fine raise. There's half the time raise on that. All right. Fold, fold, raise, fold, fold. And this is not a tournament. 7-4 suited would be a fold here. 6-4 suited would be a call. 7-5 suited would be a call. 7-4, I think, is too wide against the cutoff.
Yeah, Against cutoff, I think it's the
I
one.
think so. Against the button, even 7-4 suited comes in, and we'll check to make sure that that's still true in the wizard. That was true in the old days of poker coaching. I'm sure it's true. Let's see. There's a raise, there's the fold, he defends it. Even if he's wrong, it's not that wrong, but let's see. What does the wizard say?
I
Cut
think
off.
you- I
raise.
think it's gonna be cusp.
Yeah, big blind. Let's look at that 7-4. Nope. He likes, against the cutoff, they only want single gappers up until you get to the 9-6. 9-6 sticks out, yeah. But, you know,
It's just close.
I'm gonna just say
It doesn't switch between 100 big blind and 200 big blind
Oh,
poker.
Yeah, it's deeper, so you can call wider probably.
Yeah, but but 150, I mean, yeah, it's 140 big blinds deep. But let's change it. Let's see what comes in at 200. We've got the 200 big blind. Give him 100.
150.
Give him the 150. And no. But
Hmm.
very generous of you to offer that.
I would say you have more implied odds.
Yeah, yeah.
Not
Um,
more implied, but
this has got to be a check bet fold. And I think the sizing for this board should be, and I'm interested in this. I think that this board sizing should be more, not 75s, but should have more 50s in it than if this were rainbow. So we're gonna do our rainbow check with this. That's what I
yeah,
think.
that's.
And I think
probably
it's, and I
also-
think this is a bet range board.
I don't know actually, king nine.
We'll see.
I
King eight.
don't think so.
I'm good.
but-
Yeah. If not bet range, it's gonna be certainly bet across range. All right.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
more than 70% bet, or more than
Right.
75 or something like that. I
Yep.
think 80 or 80% or something like that.
Yep, we're gonna look this one up. All right.
Yeah, you definitely
Yeah.
have a lot of king X in your range.
All right. Well played, 7-4.
Yeah, but the big blind also has a lot of king X in it.
Sure.
I think the 7-4 should not donk out here. I think he should check call more.
I don't hate it.
Yeah, I don't hate if he does, but. And now he should definitely be in check
Because
call.
player pool is not slow playing enough normally.
And the ace king got saved, check, and he absolutely can bet that queen. 7 call,
Yeah. What can you do?
do you call here?
All draws miss.
Yeah, but he didn't ever bet a draw.
Oh yeah, send it. No, send it. No, why?
He abandons it. Let's run this one.
Alright,
This one's interesting.
I would bet as the villain also if I had ace jack. I mean, no, if
Right.
ace jack is showdown, so that.
So Yas, I'm gonna put you in you're in the big blind, Yas.
Yeah.
So flop comes, you check behind. What do you wanna do on the turn?
Because the player pool is not slow playing enough, I would bet. I think the
Good.
solver
Good. What size?
won't bet this one. Half pot or something like that.
Half pot? Okay. Right. Half pot, I think
Half
half
pot, 75%, something
I
like
think
that.
75% is gonna get a fold. I think a third pot might not. And I think half pipe
I
might.
wouldn't,
half
I
pot
wouldn't
might.
bet the third pot, then his ace X is not folding.
Yeah, exactly. Good. And then river, you're gonna call river when you do check?
Yeah. Side call, but yeah.
Yeah.
What can you do?
alright, you wanna take a look?
Yeah.
Queen is not the best card.
No.
Rather have a 10 or something like that.
Alright, SRP,
Good.
cutoff versus
Yeah.
big blind,
Yep. And we're gonna give ourselves the 7-5 suited.
alright. I think, yeah, same kind of thing. It's a very similar board texture to the last hand.
Yeah.
Um,
But
check,
more of an advantage. Did you see that? Looking at the numbers there,
more of a nut advantage?
more of a range advantage.
Is that so?
Yeah, it's big,
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah,
wide
a bit,
across
bit,
the
yeah.
range. It's
In
a
the middle
similar
is,
one, but
higher.
it's 55-45 and the last one was 53-47. So that,
So he uses a similar,
Yeah.
betting strat here.
Ace queen is checking a lot, huh?
Yeah.
This year.
more checking than both Yas and I thought.
So, yeah, it's kind of interesting that these middling
But
aces
at least not a range bet, Scott.
are chucking a
No,
lot.
no, It's not a
So he
range
could,
bet.
he could
Not at all.
check. I imagine, yeah, this is across this entire range. He's using a strat.
Right.
So he checks.
Before we go to the next node,
Ace
Um,
queen off.
his ace queen off, I think he
He
bets
had
with.
the diamond of ace.
Yeah.
So he bets more with the ace of diamonds and the
Yeah.
queen of
Ace of diamonds bets a fair amount.
queen also.
And the size the ace of diamonds bet was,
Yeah, probably both.
let's see. Small mostly.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, this board looks like it wants mostly small betting.
Right.
He checks, which is fine. And it is a 7 of clubs
7 of clubs, yes. Double flush
and
board.
yeah, he can attack. So this is interesting. We got check, check, double paired board. He can
Is
attack
it 7-5
probably with his
suited? Can you look at
flush
that?
draws.
Yep, the 7-5 gets in there, but it's not very often. We'll
Yeah,
see.
but is it 7-5 of diamonds only, or is it the other ones? That's all.
It's not
Yep.
doing much betting with that. What are,
But betting smaller.
He can do it. He can do it.
what about our like combo
Of-
draws, like our high value combo draws? Like, is our wrap that got here? See, talk PLO, and that's attacking over bets.
6-9 is good. 5-6.
6-4 suited is a good shot and
Hmm.
a 6-5 also actually.
Also
6-5 doesn't even
attacking.
need to be the suits. 6-5 can just attack.
6-5 is an open ender. Huh?
6-4, does 6-4 need a suit to do it?
I don't know.
Let's take a look.
To
6-4
bet big,
wants a
yes.
suit.
Yeah,
doesn't-
it wants to have one of those
To bet
flush
big.
draws.
And to bet big, it has to have it.
Yeah. So combo draws, these are combo draws. And they're mostly over betting.
And big on this board was the 125, right?
No, the 175.
175. Okay.
And 250 even.
Can't tell the difference in these colors.
Yeah, it's, so all our draws are using these, using a lot of polarizing sizing.
Right.
Combo draw, open-ended, straight draw, flush draw, they're all kind of attacking this.
Right.
Assumed.
Actually, it's logical that you bet big because
Assumed,
a lot of flush draws available and a lot of other draws.
So
alright,
you're-
yeah, so, yeah, we can see what's doing this, so
You're
he
7.
had 7-4, which is just like, or 7-5, we could say, and he's just like, pretty much just whatever, gives up, so he checks. And what does, imposition do on turn?
In position, checked back
Check, 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 check,
with the ace queen.
and
Queen comes
here
in.
comes the queen of hearts.
Yep.
So I guess the queen of hearts really, so no flushes. Trade is available. I'm curious what part of our
Checking.
range now chooses to bluff this. If there's blocker components to it, so like. Jack 10, maybe it's blocking like queen X. So all this kind of,
And it can't win.
and it
Yeah,
can't
it's
win.
all over the board, man.
What
Um,
is?
The betting.
Right.
Well, it looks pretty polarized to me, right? So we have the
Yeah,
very
it is, of course, it's
bottom
pop-
of our range, which is
but that's
bluffing,
always-
Yeah.
and then we have this whole middling region, like all the ace X. Is choosing to check, because it's got some showdown,
Sevens check, eights check probably.
and then. We are betting with the
Queens.
queen X here. This is all our queen X using this this blocker sizing. And so we're mixing all the blocker and big bet sizing,
Right.
not big, B74.
And we
sizing,
don't want to have
big
clubs
bluffs.
or diamonds.
No, I think that's
Good.
not true, Yas. That's what I was looking. In the bluffs at the bottom, it looked like we were perfectly happy to have clubs and diamonds. because nobody ever bet. So we don't mind that we're blocking the
Our
busted
clubs is not that bad. I see lots of spades and
spades
no
and hearts.
diamond.
Let's see, do we see no diamonds?
no diamond.
there's
I don't
diamond.
see any diamonds if he goes over it.
Yeah, go over that again. Well,
I'll
just,
show it a different way.
yeah, show it a different way. Let's see the diamonds.
Trash hands. So these are trash hands. They're mostly betting. We can look at any.
Diamonds is betting indeed.
Yeah, diamonds bets and clubs bets. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're just attacking. Yeah,
And
I mean, there is a theory, we do see on occasion that when there's so much, when imposition's range is so capped, that we are going to pool broadly
Right.
for our bluffs.
And the thing to notice here is this goes against the usual heuristic, which is we actually, the times that we don't bet the 5-4 are when it is hearts and spades actually bet less often than clubs and diamonds. Roll over that 5-4, 6-4 at the bottom.
Sure.
What's the EV difference?
Small. I say without even looking at it.
Oh, it's 84 versus. Oh no, it's the percentage. That's not EV.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one is 0 EV and the one other is 0.2. That's just
Right.
blocker effect.
But I don't think,
Yeah, so we can kind of see where we're pulling our bluffs from.
Right.
Um,
I think the important thing to learn from this one is not that the spades and hearts bets less often, is that that the usual heuristic of don't bet your diamonds isn't, in this case, yeah, don't bet your diamonds isn't true because he never bet. So those hands that you didn't want to block, they aren't there in any higher percentage than anything else.
True. And also, so the other part is the top pair's betting real pure. Yeah, it looks like.
And second pair
Uh,
betting a lot.
So we can just look at filters,
Yeah.
top.
8-5, 8-6, king deuce. The low ones are not betting. The high ones are betting.
Second pair.
Yeah, that's second pair. That's different.
Yeah. So we're betting at a high free care. So we're checking 32%, but across this whole range, we're betting a lot.
Right.
And we're using this blocker
No,
sizing. So,
with a bad kicker, you're betting less. Also second pair.
so anyway, yeah, so
Kicker
we
matters.
want to see, I guess our big question is what do we do? What's our calling threshold? When we see, when we face a bet in
Right.
solver land. So we check, what was his sizing?
His size was, give me one
50%, if I'm correct.
let's go. Okay. His size,
Have fun.
2.62, 50%.
All right, we'll choose B75. And yeah, so our sevens are pretty much just full. Oh, that's not,
Oh no, no,
That's fine.
7-5
Let's
is
just look.
pure
Sure.
call. It's only 7-10.
I can't, yeah, okay, so,
The big sevens fold and the bad sevens call.
Yeah, blocker effect, huh?
yeah, so the sevens are mixing.
Yeah, but against a bigger bet than he did. So
Right, yeah, go to the 33 and see if they're all in there. Or the 36.
Go to the
Give him the
B33?
36. Give him the,
Yeah.
yeah, bet 2 instead of 4, because he bet 2.5. Let's see if that brings in all the sevens.
not all, I think. Most. Hope. Not
A
all.
few more,
Yeah,
but his 7-5 does call, and therefore his 7-4 calls.
Yeah, it's
so
a below
fold
kicker.
27%,
Heck, his 4-4 calls.
fold 47, so we fold twice as much.
Yeah.
So it's-
H3 calls sometimes.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, so I think a game, one player dependent adjustment or player pool adjustment we can make is. Especially after it goes check, 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 check. I don't know if we have to hero that much with sevens here.
Yeah, it depends on what you think, what the player pool is doing on the flop, huh?
Yeah.
If they are honest on the flop and bet their value, then yeah, they can have a lot of bluffs then. That's the problem. That's the
Before we
reason,
go off that
yeah,
one,
I
maybe
mean,
go back to
that's
that
the
one.
reason I called there.
I think it comes down to how much. We think population is protecting their checking range.
So Larry,
Yeah.
go back and share your screen again one more time before you lose that. And
Sure.
make one change real quick. We're gonna do our usual thing we examine every time. Which is change that 8 of diamonds on the flop to an 8 of spades. And let's look at the cutoff range. Cutoff action there.
Or you want to see the percentages
Yep,
on the
Mm.
flop.
exactly.
You wanna see the
Flop.
cutoff betting percentages?
Yep, cutoff right there.
Check 64.
All right, I'm gonna steal this back now.
I think
and
you're on the turn, Larry.
I already, I
Oops.
did the copy. Oh, that was at the turn?
I
Yeah,
am sorry. So
Yeah,
this is two-tone, right?
That's what we
We-
want.
Check 51.
And we're gonna, of course, we're gonna check less when it goes rainbow, but it's also gonna change the size of our bets. That's what we're gonna see. So the rainbow is gonna bring us down to a
We're
check,
yeah, we bet a lot more.
right?
Yeah.
And,
both sizes more, actually.
Right.
Yes.
and the thing here that I want to just quickly observe both these is this right here. So it moves from 51 down, so
But also the
rainbow?
50% is going up.
yeah, that's what it's gonna look at. So when we are rainbow, we only check 30%. And our small bet is, we have 35, 28, and 5. 38, 28, and 5. When we go to the two-tone, they all go down. This one drops in half, 38, 25. So yeah, I don't see anything important to learn about the sizing of the difference. I don't think that this, in this particular board, I don't think that it pushes the sizing up. It just pushes, you know, those seem similar enough.
Pretty dry board, huh? So yeah, we're expecting.
Okay. There we go. We do not need any of that anymore. And we need to go back to this. All right. Here we go. And that was the ace queen. Fold, fold, raise, fold, fold, 3-bet,
Raise.
call. Fold, fold, raise, fold, fold, 3-bet, and call. Wow, they're doing that. All right, well, let's see what happens.
It's using a hardcore solver proof big blind 3-bet sizing.
Yeah, he was right on that. 13. I don't like these people at all. I don't know why I'm, all right.
They're more predictable.
Right. Probably bet, call, bet, fold, I guess. Maybe the
Depends on the
10's call.
sizing.
Yeah. Bet small. I think he
Yeah.
gets 7 big blinds from the 10s. 10s just get out of their way. All right. Fold, raise, fold, 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 fold. This is annoying. Fold, 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 fold. Fold, fold, raise. Okay, something might happen here.
You can't fold ace jack, I
It's
think.
good in your, it's good 3-bet, I think.
Yeah. And I bet this, I bet that this mixes with a lot of 3-betting. I don't think it pure 3-bets, but I bet it's gonna be a high frequency 3-bet. All right, there's the raise, and he goes to 3. Did we notice if he was doing 2.5s before, or if he's adjusted this for size?
I
did.
do not know.
There's your 3-bet, good sizing. And the 10s do not fold here. And in the cutoff, do they 4-bet 10s probably?
Yeah,
Probably.
you're
I
out
don't,
of position, so I don't know actually.
it might be sprinkled in there.
Yeah, I think mostly it calls though. But he
And you're
4-bets
deeper also. But that's a small 3-bet.
and his
Fold.
4-bet size is too small for out of position.
Yeah.
Yes.
This should be 2.3x, so this should be 18. This should be
20.
21.
Yeah,
this-
he mixes 4-bets here.
Yeah, I predict that's 21, and there we go. We're gonna check all this out after the hand's played. Oh,
So
well,
now he's the 4-better. He's taking control. This is gonna be interesting.
it's a 4-better. He should probably continue. He's got the 10 of diamonds. Probably bet about 10, get the bad news, and then give up. 14, get the bad news and give up. And can ace jack bet for value here?
I think I'm
Is
being
it
influenced by what I see, but I think after it goes check, check. Obviously you feel more comfortable with the blocker to the flush, but, I think you're supposed to.
Yeah. I could absolutely see checking behind here to not get check raised. I could see doing it, but if I
Yeah.
I mean,
bet,
it's a very unnerving situation in real life, right? Cause
Yeah.
you've got an SPR of like 0.6.
Mhm.
A jam has a lot of effectiveness. It's a lot to call off
Yeah.
check shoves.
Right, and the SPR is the opposite of 0.6,
You're actually targeting then either a weaker jack
but yeah,
or
Yeah, you're right,
what
1.3,
he has,
sorry.
So that's not a lot.
I think that I'm betting 30 big blinds here
Yeah, but
and calling off a jam.
uh, I think it's close.
I shouldn't, but yeah, I think that's what I'm doing. All right.
You
Definitely.
bet, you checked, right?
Nope, check, check. That's what he did. All right. So
Close.
we have this, so pre-flop. We're at the, we're at GTO sizing and nobody's doing GTO
I
sizing.
think you have also kings and queens there, so and aces maybe. So
Yeah, so this is more how people are playing this thing right now.
the
So
best
this
hand.
was cutoff raise with his tens. Button comes in with his ace jack, pure. It's pure.
Almost pure.
Yeah, it's just pure. You don't need to know that. And cut off with his tens comes in, mixes 4 bets and calls. Great. He does the call, and then we're gonna see what happens next. All right.
I think he 4-bet, didn't he?
Oh, we did, and his 4-bet I said was to be 21, and it's supposed to be 22. So
Yeah, but ace jack is now disappearing almost.
ace jack just goes away.
Only
And
suited. You have the suited one still.
so
Yeah, who knows what happens I think to that sizing, I don't think he can fold.
yeah, to the 15. He screwed himself with that 15.
I mean, let's look what so what are the pot odds, just out of curiosity on that, in game against that small.
Oh, in game,
4-bet.
his pot odds were fabulous. He was getting, he needed 19%.
Yeah, you can't fold 19%.
No,
So, I'm
he
gonna,
got 19% against ace king.
yeah, so let's just,
He
so,
just doesn't know. His problem is he has 19% against ace king and against king king. The problem is he doesn't know which 19% he has when he hits it.
yeah. So the old adage is
He's in position.
oh, sorry, old adage in, tournaments in Chippy V is that you've got pre-flop, if you've got your pot odds are lower than 30%, you call off because your whole entire range is good.
Yeah.
Free. And so obviously I think you call up here.
Yep.
And you're playing in position.
So this is one of the bigger mistakes that we've seen.
Yeah, the solver want to go from 7.5 to 22, so that's 3x.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
He's doing 1.5.
Oh, right, because it was extra big. You're right, it was even bigger. It was to 9. The solver went, so I was wrong. I said that needed to be 2.3 on the 4-bet, and I was wrong. Solver wants the 4-bet to be 3x.
Almost 3. But that's if you're out of position. In position, it's more 2.7 or 2.5, I think.
Yeah. But I thought it was like 2.5 and 2.3 or something. So I had my numbers wrong. There we go.
Yeah, I don't know what he's thinking here. I don't know. Well, I mean, the only hand I could ever imagine doing this with was aces.
Yeah. You don't want to do it with kings.
I don't think I do it with tens.
No.
It serves
Well,
any purpose.
yeah, you just
You're
don't
not,
want
you're not,
an ace in.
you're not generating folds, and you are now inflating a pot playing
Yep.
out of position.
With tens.
Yeah. There's nothing about this that I like. Do we want to see whether that ace should bet the river, or do we not care about the ace jack? Or do you want to just go lives?
It's
I'm
a
kinda
different
curious.
Okay. Yeah, let's run this one quicker.
Why don't you move forward and I will set this up?
Okay, here we go. Fold, raise, fold. All right. Fold, raise, don't fold, which is gonna bring in the ace eight. So the king, queen here, I think should mostly three bet,
Yep.
some calls. But
Yeah,
mostly,
you still have the
when he three bets, the ace eight should fold. When he calls, the ace eight should call. And the jacks after the three bet should mostly four bet.
yeah, we saw that
Yeah,
just
mostly four bet, and they should four bet to 22. Right. There's the
but they are 200
2.3.
deep, so it's a bit different.
There's the call, and with the call version of it, the ace eight should play. And he does.
He can even three bet squeeze.
You wanna look at this hand real quick before we dive into another
Yeah,
Nelson
yeah,
hand?
absolutely. We got two good hands here.
My brain might explode.
Right. All right.
Um,
Am I sharing this? Yes, I am. Okay, stop share. There we go.
the four bet pot, so the first thing to think about is that button is missing all 12 combos of ace jack off.
Right.
So that's gonna affect the solve.
Yeah.
But in a four bet pot, we see this often, right? We're gonna bet range
Out of position.
out of position. And
But we use a lot of 50% bets. Oh no,
Yeah.
25 actually.
yeah, we've got a little bit of a range advantage.
But also 50. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's mixing
Lots-
between,
Lots of 25s and lots of 50s. And nothing bigger.
Yeah, and the other thing is that-
50 position.
the other thing that's interesting to me is that he, E33 isn't a thing, right? It's E25. So what did he choose in game?
I
B-
choose
three.
B50 normally.
did
He,
he- He bet 10 into 30.
yeah, so that's 1/3 pot.
So
Yeah.
probably closer to B25.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he bet 15 into 30. He bets
That's
B50.
half pot.
Okay,
14,
so-
96, he bet half pot.
Okay, so let's say the equivalent of B50.
Yeah.
So this is what we also see often is that
Ace jack is a
we're
gun.
just shoving. I mean, our SPR is just like, our SPR is less than one, right? Our SPR is now
In the solver, yes, in game it wasn't. Huh?
correct. This would be more just going as a custom solve.
We're gonna give ourselves king jack suited as we go
Speaking
forward.
of, I've got a custom solve in a weird four bet pot. If we have time, I'll show you guys.
Okay.
It's a four bet pot, and then I get triple dunk into. Okay, so. Yeah, so we're just all in with our, well, let's just look and see if we just don't have any jacks. We just have like 3 sets of jacks. But they're all ready to play for stacks. So this is super common in a four bet pot. Like we don't have, this is our best hand we get to here, I guess, with.
Yeah.
Go ranges. Gonna break down, actually, clear. So we have slow paid traps. But then we get to our jacks and we're just like, you have ace king and ace queen at full frequency. And so I want protection is the only, and I can never fold because of SPR
Right.
and pot odds. So I'm just gonna shove.
Gotcha.
Is my reading, you guys might have a different reading. We're also gonna balance that out with the overs in the flush draw. Yeah. And these two overs just kind of like whatever, different. So,
I don't want to call with a king, queen over. I never want to call with that.
yeah, I'm not finding that, and I think that's fine because population's not gonna have very many OP four bet bluffs.
Yeah.
So, okay,
Seven,
so
but
then if we do, I'll call this one a day. If we do all in, how much is all in? Yeah, it's a big part of our strategy.
Yeah.
If we do shove, what's his call off range? Does he call off 2 overs? Because I've been in this situation recently. So we're supposed to call in theory with our 2 overs. Ace king, we mix here. Looks like we want blocker. Do we want blocker?
no,
Doesn't really matter.
No, but
So
notice-
obviously
Yeah, we have spades, hearts and clubs and we call off pure.
What are we doing
don't
with
have
our,
Yeah, with hearts with the backdoor, you have 0% more equity, or 1% or 3%, something like that.
yeah, we're never using that big sizing with all the equity we have with our front door and our overs. So that's why we don't have it here.
Right.
So we'll call in. What's our threshold real quick, and then we'll call it a day. So in solver land, yeah, our threshold are these ace king overs.
Right.
Um,
And ace,
anything else you guys
not
want to
ace
see
queen,
here?
but ace queen is pure?
I don't know how much we have ace queen. We
No,
don't really
No,
have
ace
ace
queen
queen.
wasn't pure.
Well,
Is
we
it-
have ace queen off.
Yeah,
Ace
it was.
queen off is mixing.
Right.
We really like a blocker to the flush draw if we're gonna call.
Not
Ace queen.
flush draw. The queen of diamonds.
Draw,
not
we want
bad.
to draw to the flush draw more than a blocker.
I guess it's a draw, yeah.
Yeah.
I probably serves both purposes, frankly.
Yeah.
Cause it's a backdoor that comes in like 2% of the time, I think, or something.
Yeah, but also block to ace king or something like that of diamonds. That maybe does this. I don't know.
I think to play this way in game is suicide.
I think, yeah, this is probably a little bit too. This assumes a balanced bluffing range in a 4-bet pot.
A balanced bluff
Which-
raise range.
Bluff raise all in range.
Yeah, Yeah, a bluff raise range. It doesn't exist. I don't
Yeah.
think.
So
Yeah, only ace king of diamonds or something like that.
Yeah,
yeah, we're like the very bottom of his bluff of his shoving range. We're like kind of behind him, if my math is right. So,
oh,
Okay.
behind.
so all right. Anything else you guys want to see?
Your
Yes,
solve.
I want to see that when we, with our rare jack, when we check, when we call and we don't jam. And then it goes check, check. Do we bet that jack on the river with a king jack? Because we have a
If
little
we
bit,
choose, so
it's gonna be
if we
that.
have top pair and we choose not to shove.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we call. What was the river? The turn was, 5 of hearts.
Turn is the boom, boom.
I got it.
Oh, you got it. Yeah, 5 of hearts and then the 3.
Okay, and what did you want
Check,
OP
check
to
or
do?
not?
With the we wanted to, we want check.
Then you want to see what the remaining jack that we have in position does.
Check, and here the tens do check. That's fine.
Okay,
So
Yeah,
he
we-
checks
okay.
behind.
No, you had king jack. That's
I'm
what
back.
you-
I got king jack. Now do I bet off the rest of the king jack? No, I bet off a bunch of
you're
them.
using
Most
a
of them.
weird block. You're using a weird small sizing, so.
Yeah.
This is where it gets strange because
protecting against
you're
overcard.
B30, but it leaves only 20 behind.
Right.
So
But I
I
still
never
got
quite
some check.
understand the principle in this.
Protecting against overcards. And you can put some bluffs in.
Yeah, but well, let's just to answer your question. We
Six,
B30, what does an ace king do?
Now it folds.
Yeah, false. Yeah, I guess you're right.
Ace queen.
Well played.
Not that I play that way. But
And now, but in reality, we're gonna check it. We're gonna check behind with our jack. That's because that's what the guy did.
yeah, now the solve is worthless. But you can't put any.
so then the flush comes in.
We still got some jack
Diamonds.
left. We have a little bit of that king jack left still.
Yeah, but it's the part of the tree that isn't solved almost.
Oh, is it? All right.
Because there's only so small percentages left. That
Okay.
Alright, so SPR is strange, right? So SPR is 2
that's also different than in game indeed. but-
in
Yeah.
solve.
Yeah.
And so.
Okay.
What happened in game?
It goes check from the cutoff checks again with his tens.
Oh, yes, and this, we wanna
What is the
know if
button?
we can
Tens is
value
betting
bet
most
our
of the
jacks.
time, you
Okay.
can-
We just bet off and we bet off the rest of the jacks. There's just no question.
So
Jack is good there. Okay.
top pair.
Yeah.
It's only 1% range, but yeah, we
Yeah.
just shove it.
Okay, great.
Okay, stop share.
Sounds good. All right. So this one here, this is where we were. We're on the cutoff raise. And the button here with his king, queen really does a lot of three betting. There's only a sliver of not three betting, and I don't see any reason to find this all here. I think just do the king,
Yeah,
queen
offsuit
pure, do
hands.
the ace, queen pure, just make your
They
life,
fold, you're happy.
make your life easy along here and I don't know, pick up this, what one, and don't raise these. Take it out of those or something.
And call.
Right. When that happens, of course, the big blind cannot play that ace eight at all. But he can, which you don't need to find. Look at that. That's crazy. The ace eight can
Yeah.
squeeze,
You don't have a calling range in the big blind?
not against a raise and a re-raise.
Okay, yeah, wait, sorry.
We're
On
gonna
the
do it,
re-raise.
we're gonna put in the call, but it's interesting that you have this ace eight suited bluff here that I'm never gonna find. And I'm fine with losing all these. And let your ace queen be your bluff. Do that pure. And if you bluff the ace queen pure, that'll pick up enough combos of all these to fill in that ace queen, will do it. Especially if you do the king 10. Okay. But when he does the call, which is not solver breaking, but low frequency,
Yeah, the question is what ace eight is doing.
right, I think you should never fold the ace eight, but the question is how often
Oh.
do you squeeze it? Never fold it. It's not, needs worse to squeeze. So your instinct was good, but the solver doesn't like the eight. And again, if the ace
Yeah,
seven, okay, how
it's
bad
the
can
middle of your ace suited hands that all call at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the reason that you don't. That's
Yeah.
the way I look at it nowadays.
Say it
It's
again?
the middle of my ace suited, so the high ones I want to raise, the low ones I want to bluff some.
So I would, this seems to simplify very nicely to raise ace 10 suited and above, call ace 9 suited and below, and bluff. I would say bluff the ace 5 because I'm used to it, and it wouldn't be wrong, but apparently better to bluff the ace 4.
That's not apparently, that's just a solve.
Right, I mean, it's just apparently it has a higher frequency, but if you just shove all this into ace 5, you're not wrong. And your life is simple. All right. So-
What I mean, the accuracy is so low that
Yeah.
that difference doesn't pick up on that.
I'm with you. As played. Good play. Okay, from the king, queen. Let's see who gets bit in the butt. Nobody. The jacks just get to win. Now, in this situation, GTO, my understanding of three-way pots from the little bit of work we did, but most of this work was in tournaments, was we do a lot of checking here. We don't worry about having a king, queen, or ace roll off on the turn. We just do a lot of checking.
Why is that?
I don't know. It's just what GTO is. We give
Yeah.
this guy a lot of chance to bet, and the hands that are like this, we check with the check call.
Is that multi-way also the case? I know.
I think a lot of the
It's not
theory
multi-way,
of
it's
why
okay.
we check,
Oh,
oh,
but-
sorry.
If it's not multi-way, I know it's the case that you do a lot of checking, but multi-way also?
Yeah,
I think the
multi-way
theory
a
is
lot.
that you do a lot of checking here because you're in the back, you're out of position and you gain significant information by seeing the betting pattern, right? It does
Yeah,
open up
that's
you
true,
to
but
being
the
bluffed,
jack
but
is,
you have a hand pretty good. I mean, well, let's look at our equities. I mean, what dominating equity wise just happens here, but a lot of the checking is about old school, see where you're at.
Yeah.
You learn a lot if
Yeah, that's true. I don't
if
mind.
in
Yeah.
position, pots it, and
Right.
small blind raises him.
Right. And now you know,
Checkmate.
now you know you have the best hand when the turn, when the big blind checks you on the turn, but unfortunately an ace, a king, or a queen could be the next card. But now you have the best hand.
And you get a call. Oh no, yeah, you get a call.
So you get a tiny dunk. Now the question is, I don't I don't really, I might be influenced by the cards, but I'm not really influenced. We're so
I would
deep.
raise here.
There's
all
definitely, there's an argument for both because we're so deep. But
Yeah.
being this deep and in position, I think we do slow play it. We have 100% equity. We wouldn't solve her as well.
I would say the other way around. If you're so deep, I would bet for value. Otherwise, you don't get the money in.
Yeah,
I think that both strategies in a multi-way solve would be viable.
Yeah.
Because you have
Normally,
absolutely
in between, you don't bet.
a
That's-
locked up board. But there's certainly an argument that you want to get money in now and have his draws pay.
right. And you definitely don't want to draw to fold. So you look at this thing and you say, what are the draws that he can have? He has all the hearts. That makes sense. He doesn't have 4-6 suited here. He didn't call with 4-6 suited very often.
Eh,
No, he does. He does with that. Okay, so he's got the
Okay,
4-6. This is
just a
good.
call.
Right. He's got it. He's got the 3-5 suited, which would be
He's got fives.
great. He's got fives. That's a really small bet for a
Yeah,
fold.
it's pretty small.
But we love that. He also, by the way, has pocket threes, and so we can lose 100
I
big
mean, the
blinds.
other argument for not raising here is, do you really want to lose both guys when you've got 100% equity in a multiple
But if
pot?
you raise, it's gonna be
Oh,
small enough to guarantee that a flush draw and a straight draw stay in. You're gonna,
Yeah, but you got two people in the pot, right?
Yeah.
You've got locked up equity barring big blind having three. So if you slow play here, are you able to keep in two players,
No,
gain additional equity?
no,
No. There's no way this guy's ever gonna call this size, is what you're saying.
not with this hand. I mean, if he has nothing, I would fold.
Well, let's pretend we don't know what the hand is.
Yeah, but if I have nothing, then I would fold. Only if I have maybe ace king, I would call. But yeah, that's out of the question because I 3-bet that pre-flop.
yeah, you have very few ace kings.
Pairs are out of the question because I 3-bet.
What do you have nines? What do you have eights? What do you have sevens? What are you doing on the
I
side?
fold right away.
Okay,
When I call, you fold with tens. Right. So I go this big, which unfortunately,
That's on the big side, actually.
yeah, that makes it hurt. That some flush draws might fold.
Although 34%.
That's fine. That's kind of like what I was
think that's
thinking.
fine.
He doesn't
But
have-
ace 8 has
Oh, he's got-
more.
He's got
I was
20
thinking nine.
he's got 20% express odds. He thinks. And he's certainly got 34% implied odds,
He
but
has
he,
more than 34, because you're still on the button, I think, or not?
oh, you mean once the button folds? Let's see. Oh, no, it doesn't matter. I'm offering the ace-8 suited 34% pot odds. And and his express odds to hit his flush are only 20%.
Yeah, but he has also an overcard.
He has an overcard, which he doesn't know is good.
Yeah, sometimes. So it's
Sometimes
kind
good,
of a small percentage.
but I
But
want to make
I
it
would
easier.
bet
to-
small. Let's put it that way. I would bet like 7 big blinds or something like that.
I want to give him at least, I want to give him 25% odds or less. I want to make it obvious, but I didn't have to.
Oh,
So that's
I
great.
mean, like when you raise here on the turn on a paired board, I mean, to me, it looks like it's more like value heavy for me.
It's
yeah,
valid.
but it could be a jack.
Value
Huh?
heavy.
Just a queen jack, king jack.
When you
whatever.
lose anyways, it's value heavy. But hey,
True. I mean, true. King jack, ace jack.
sometimes we have a just and benevolent God. Now, as
Now
the
he's-
ace-8, he's got a donk.
now this is like a dream.
Yeah, the ace-8 has to donk.
Does he?
No, but I mean, I thought he did because I thought that,
Slow play.
I thought we
mean,
checked behind, I think I checked behind all my pairs here. I checked behind, ace, the rare ace-3 that I have, that I played weird.
Ooh.
I
I
don't
mean,
think,
we should check it out. I mean, like, does out of
Love
position
flush.
get to bet on a paired board?
well, we're going to, we're going,
He's got
We're
he's
going to
got
bet pot.
a nut flush.
yeah, we're gonna bet pot. Oh, we're not even gonna give him a chance to check raise. We're just gonna go, I have the flush.
Well, we're
I
in
think
position.
this is the best card to go all in.
That's cool.
You can have a
Yeah.
flush, and if he has fives, he also calls. So
This
What
might be
happened?
an interesting hand to look at heads up
That is
because the turn card is so interesting.
4.5. Look at that.
Yeah.
3.5x pot. That's a beautiful thing.
yeah, I mean, you're almost certain that he has a flush or a full house or something.
Yeah.
That's the way you want to
That's
use
so great. And now this guy has 500 big blind. And he left? I guess he left the table.
it. You put it all in his
I'm not
pocket.
exactly comfortable playing 500. Well, I guess you're not.
Yeah.
Relative.
Yeah, he ends up right. He ends up,
The other stacks are not that big, so
yeah, he ends
Do
up.
you wanna, look at, what the solver likes to do in turn if this was heads up?
Sure, sure.
Alright, I'll set that up.
Yeah, we'll never get whether he does that. Do you try to pull this king, queen in? And I've done that mistake of trying to pull the king, queen in. And without thinking enough about going, what could he have? I just go, well, maybe he'll call. And sometimes they've made the mistake.
yeah. But sometimes they call, but then still you lose money.
Yeah, because I didn't get as big a bet in. Yep. And I didn't give the other guy a chance to three bet his fives.
yeah.
Yeah, there's also I
Or,
don't think it's a good play, but I've
Check
done.
raise is ace eight.
Fold, 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 raise, fold. Hello, 6-9 suited. That's not in range. Nicely done. And that should do it. That should take it. Nope. This queen jack is not in range, but he smells it. And it's not big enough. So this is a hand filled with mistakes. And the 6-9 calls. That's not good either. This is all new people. I think. Oh, look at what's changed. I see what's changed. This is the fast game. Have we been in the fast game this whole time? No.
No, I don't think so.
Yes, we have. We didn't even notice this. We're
Okay,
idiots.
guys, I'm leaving you. See you
Alright.
next time.
Bye, Yas.
Is tomorrow the next session, Scotty?
Yeah, tomorrow we're gonna do whatever crazy the regular crazy sixes time. If he does it, we're gonna do it. Otherwise, I'll do it, and then we'll decide. We'll talk to the group about what we want to do going forward.
Okay. Fine.
And we'll also try to
Tomorrow.
talk to, if GBT is there, we'll talk to him about getting us a coach. All right.
Okay. See you tomorrow.
So everything we've said about how people play has been wrong. This is the fast game. All right.
Alright, we wanna look at this hand?
Yeah. Yeah, we want to look at this one.
Alright, so I will share. Yeah, low pair board, interesting. So let's just see who's got the range advantage real quick. He's got more trips. Pretty even. So he checks range.
And here are jacks. Oh, are you doing it? Are you doing it against the big blind? Here are jacks are going to bet all the time.
Yeah.
The reason they didn't bet was because of the button behind when they were out of position to the button.
Yeah, we'll give it a check just because
Yeah, it
he can
exists.
roll a 90 or whatever.
Yeah, it exists.
And Jack of Hearts is our interesting.
Yep.
Turn card. What does he do with, what is OP supposed to do with his FDs on a paired board here?
Ace-8 suited, he is doing mostly checking.
It looks like he's really going to have a betting frequency. Pretty low betting frequency across his entire range. But a little bit less in the middle. So he then, with his let's just look at his flush draws real quick. So it's interesting that he is checking more with his ace high, which is showdown,
Right.
but then our lesser FDs.
All bet.
He
And they
is
must bet
choosing to
small.
donk. Yeah,
The king highs are the king that have the big bet in them with a 9. I
Yeah, so our highest frequency big bet with the flush draws is the king nine.
Right. Okay, oh, we weren't working just at, right, so looking just at flush draws. Oh,
Yeah,
the
we're
ace
looking just
high
at
flush
flush
don't bet
draws.
at all?
Sorry, say it again.
The ace high flush draws don't bet at all?
Yeah, this is just flush draws. So I think the ace highs, except our
these
very
are-
best
no, these
ones
are more than
here
flush
with two
draws.
overs.
These are more than flush draws.
It's flush draw nuts, flush draws.
Then why is it showing me the ace nine of spades here?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll filter again.
Yeah.
I might have combo draws. Yeah, it's just showing them all this time
it's
for
just
some
showing me,
reason.
right. So hit spade, hit hard heart.
Okay.
There we go. It's not filtering.
Yeah, you can see only the hearts.
Yeah, it's not doing the filter. But who cares?
Yeah.
We can, the filter isn't working right. I don't know why.
Yep.
And I don't care. Because what it shows us is that the hearts do bet, but they don't bet pure.
Yeah, so he chose a blocker sizing. Now this is the question.
Right,
What do we do with our locked up jack equity
exactly.
this deep? Yeah, it's a pure slow play.
Okay,
It's just because we're getting bet into and we have. It is a very good point that we have really, really, we're really deep. Our SPR is like 10,
yeah,
but we just, the more important consideration is that we have locked up equity and we don't want to fold out any of his range.
yeah, we want everything to get there.
Not to mention, we're blocking we're blocking his continues if we raise, right?
Right,
Like if we raise, well, it doesn't really matter, but yeah, I mean, this is one instance where we are absolutely going to slow pay the very top of our range.
Right.
As we're getting bet into, this is probably threes here at some low frequency.
Yeah, it's like you're in position, you want villain to get there. You don't need to undisguise your hand on the turn and just, yeah, play in position.
you want.
I mean, it kind of sucks because I totally get the point that Yost was making in that, well, we want to get money in and we want to charge his draws. But there are some situations, especially in position, where we're not going to do that thing.
But we do have that sliver,
Mhm.
and so let's play the sliver we played. What's the size bet? What is the size of that range, right, of that raise right there? That
It's
is,
a click back. Essentially.
it's a click back. So we're gonna do as best we can. We're gonna give the one that we actually have.
And all his, he's
He doesn't
look how
fold.
much, yeah, even that click back on this paired board. Yeah, it's such a shitty thing to fold out all his bluffs.
Right. But luckily his ace eight stays.
Yeah, all his ace eight stays. He calls,
Great.
we get the dream, in position player gets the dream. River,
We are bitten by one hand and he doesn't have that hand.
and now he is never, he's never going to, he is also in turn, not donking the very top of his range, right?
Right. He doesn't donk his flushes.
He kind of does this. I've seen this as well. So he does this blocker sizing with his two pair,
Right.
and then he's going to have to even that out with some part of his range, which is going to be very top of range where he's got some donkers with his quads and with his shit. But he checked in game, right?
Right. He checked in game. And now what size?
So in Solverland, do we shove for,
For 4x pot?
yeah, do we shove for 4x pot with the very top of our range? Filters, full house, mix. But we don't go that big. I mean, he's got a capped range, so we bet 9 or we bet 13. But
Yeah.
in, but I think against humans, it makes total sense because it's very hard for any human being to fold a nut flush.
But also the human being is going to do a lot of check raising of the nut flush to this size.
Now that's a good question. I don't think they are on a paired board. But let's find out.
I think I'm saying the solver is. I think they are.
Oh, I see your point.
Yeah. I
So
think
they bet,
any scared size, anything that isn't an overbet. I think they're check raising.
a B74 in solver land. Is mixing with his flushes. Yeah, I stand corrected, sir.
Nut flushes are giving us all the money.
We're getting a nut flush. We don't care. It's a paired board. We don't give it. That probably really is because, well, he could have nines. The question is, does imposition player ever get? Does he ever get to nines here with, does he ever get to river with nines here? He doesn't. So he only really has jacks and a smattering of fives.
Right.
So that's not, it's such a small part of his range that we can check raise shove our nut
Yep.
flushes.
Yep.
All right, how's that?
That was good.
All right. You
All right.
guys want to see anything else?
Not on that one.
Okay.
All right, so here we are. We just left off. That was the lovely. We don't. Where were we? We've seen this hand. 7-4. Right. This was our 7-4. We saw that. Queen raised and take it. Is where. This was what we just, the jack we did. So it should be this. Oh, it's this one. We just left off on this weird 6-9, this nonsense. This hand that is way out of range, 9-6 suited on the cutoff is not way out of range. It's just out of range. This exists in something like this exists in a tournament. So maybe that's where he got it from. This queen jack is way off. And this exists in his mind. Hold on, after
Maybe
full.
Queen Jack's a super user.
Yep, but it's surrounded by things. So he decided that made sense. It doesn't. And his size, which should be 12, is 8. And maybe that actually brings in the 6-9. Maybe that's not a mistake from the 6-9 there to be in position with a suited hand because he got under 3-bet. So that's the one thing here that I don't hate. I don't know how bad it is. It's not good. All right. And then hooray for the jack queen. And he 3-bets, so he should c-bet. And he does about a third because he has such confidence, keeping the guy in with his mid pair and a straight draw that is not, even if he comes in, he shouldn't feel confident, even not knowing that it's there. And then he goes, all right, maybe you've got a flush draw there. Maybe you've got a real hand. Bets 20. This guy is stubborn. And now that shouldn't slow him down. If he's up against a full house, he's up against a full house. But here's the important thing on this. His bet size should not be 20 big blinds or 30 big blinds. He needs to be all in. This is really important here. This is the one thing to take from this hand. He has to go all in here. Good for him. And the reason is this. If he bets 20 and gets raised, he's not going to fold a straight, right?
Yeah, true.
If you're not going to fold the straight, then when this guy has a hand like ace 10, when the 6-9 has a hand like ace 10 that he doesn't jam, he loses 20 big blinds. But when he has a hand like 9-10, you lose 54 big blinds. We talked about this the last time, this principle that Brad Owens mentioned, and I don't remember the name of it.
Brad Wilson?
Brad Wilson, yeah, it was in one of his sessions we did. And
Those were the days, live webinars with Brad Wilson.
yep, but I don't remember the name of the principle, but what it is when you do this, you're making a bet such that when you win half pot, when you lose pot. And that can't be good. So he does it, and this guy has decided to lose 100 big blinds. No, he's decided to lose 90 big blinds with a hand he should not have played.
We've got our mark.
Against a range, by the way, the villain 1129, whose range is filled with aces and kings and queens and jacks here, and tens. Those are all reasonable 3-bets from there. And he's just gonna go, no, he has ace, king, he has ace, jack, he has king, jack. That's what he has. And I believe it.
Yeah, like I see what you're saying now. The villain, the villain 1129 jam is kind of bad on the river because he only gets called that better, and also it's like on a paired board, it's like either you have the straight or full house. The 6-9 should not be calling that jam.
The 6-9 should
On-
absolutely not be calling the jam, but no, I think
Yeah.
the jam by the queen jack was perfect. I think the queen jack should jam the river,
You think so?
very much so.
Or maybe
So-
at this SPR.
So our villain fish is thinking all his ace queen, all his ace jack, all his ace king missed. His flush draw missed. I've got Icony Hero.
I have a bluff catcher. I don't block the diamonds.
Yeah,
Um,
but then again, is he thinking about blockers if he is playing this way at 9-6?
but the thing that was important here to me is as played, once we put these guys on the river here. It's like you get plucked down, you're that guy in Quantum Leap, and all of a sudden you appear in a poker player's body and you're on the river here. And you've got the queen jack. Regardless of how you got here, you have to jam the queen jack here, I think. And somebody else, not me, repeat wide escape. Explain that same thing, why a 20 big blind bet is bad, why a 15 big blind bet is bad, why a 30 big blind bet is bad, why he has to bet 54.73.
Yeah. I mean, I see here, he could have a 10, so you want to get value from trips. I mean, yeah, maybe the jam makes more sense at this SPR.
Mhm.
Yeah, I see that. I see it.
It's not even at the SPR. I'm gonna let me change the SPR, and let me give villain 1129 100 big blinds, and 1132 100. So he's got that pot for it.
Yeah,
So,
like I would assume like my intuition is like, somewhere like around 100, 150 is fine, but like once you start getting 200 plus, you kind of want to like slow down maybe.
Yeah, I would say if we've got 200 big blinds left, this might not be a jam. But at those
Okay.
lower ones, it's got to do with that when you are beat, which you are rarely beat. I'm just repeating myself here, but I want you. When the 6-9 of clubs has you beat, you bet a reasonable amount, he jams, and you've got a straight, you've got the nut straight. Are you going to fold the nut straight when there's a busted flush there, draw, and you're only beaten by full houses and quads? If you're not going to fold the straight there, then when you're beat, you lose your full stack. But when you win, when he calls you down with just a 10, his trips and his ace 10, or his bluff catcher, you only win half the pot. So tell me, do you want to be in a game where when you win half the pot, but when you lose the whole pot? How do you think you're going to do over time in that game?
I think it's not well, of course it depends if you're winning more often than losing, but losing a whole pot is not I don't know.
It's
I mean,
bad. It's bad.
yeah,
Don't do
it
that.
seems bad.
It's bad. So that's the explanation. All right, moving on.
Okay.
A7, fold, 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 fold. Queen 5 suited, raise. Jack 10 suited, defend. Nope, Queen 5 suited, fold. I think that Queen 5 suited is a raise there in the small blind. Come on, queen five suited, that's way up there. Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
Definitely a raise. That's a raise.
We have a nitty broken stack.
And we're on the fast game, so none of these people matter.
Okay.
Which, how did I not notice that before?
I don't really think it was fast
It was.
initially.
I went back, I looked,
Okay,
it's been fast the whole time. I mean, I didn't jump all the way back, but
yeah.
So I have a question. In the games you
Top block.
play, I'm sorry, excuse me, for small blind versus big blind, what hands excuse me, what hands do you limp re-raise in the
none.
none?
Yeah,
None?
just,
This
you
is
just
trash.
eliminate the limp.
Okay.
This
That
is
makes-
trash, and we're playing a drop. We're not paying a time drake. If we're paying a time drake, go ahead. Or if we're huge stacked and the rake is small relative, like if we're playing, 10-20 or 20-40 and they're raking out $5 a pot, then sure.
Skate, let me ask you a
Okay.
question. Do you play live a lot, right?
Well, I haven't played live in about a month. It's been a while, but yeah, I mean, I am more comfortable live, and yeah.
So when you play live and it limps and it folds to you in a small blind, how often in your games do you just say, let's split the blinds?
Let's shop.
Oh yeah, like the big blind is usually gonna ask you, hey, you just want to chop, or
Right.
either person could just ask, and yeah, that's fine for me.
And how often do you have a good enough hand where you're like, no, I want to play this hand?
Almost never.
But it does happen.
Like it's happened like more with like ace king, maybe like ace high, like ace king, or like
right, let's-
something like that. Yeah.
Let's say it folds around to small blind and they've got ace king or aces. What are they supposed to do? Are they just, is it obligatory for them to say, we should just chop it so everybody can move on? Or do they get to play it?
If villain is in the small blind with aces, you mean?
Well, let's
Yeah,
say no, let's say you're in the small blind with aces.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's folded to you, what do you do?
Yeah, like I'm always like, doesn't matter who you are, I'm always gonna play the hands. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm always gonna raise it.
Okay. Well, what about ace king?
I may consider
Okay,
limping ace king against an aggressive big blind.
you may limp it, but you're not gonna offer to chop.
Mm, I don't think so. It would seem kind of suspicious as well, I would think.
Now, oh, sorry, go on, Larry.
That's it, I'm done,
Okay.
thanks.
In the games that I play in California, you make an agreement between the blinds before the cards are even dealt. You turn to the guys on your right and your left, you say, do you want to chop or play? And you make that agreement for the entire session. And it doesn't matter what your cards are, whether you have aces or not. And you just instantly fold. It's like, that's what we've agreed. We don't play blinds against each other to save the drop. And the only exception is when there's a special promotion going on. Like if you're playing aces cracked and it gets folded around to you, you're allowed to look at your cards, look at the other guy, and then you call and you nod at him and you play it down because you have aces and you check it down to try to get cracked.
Oh, I
Or-
see, that's interesting.
Or if there's if you're a real gambler type, somebody who likes to play the lottery, and there is a bad beat jackpot that's significant. You each look at your cards, you look at each other and go, is this a hand that makes a bad beat jackpot? And if it is, you limp in, the other guy nods to you, and then you check it down and you pay the rake. And you've agreed to this in advance. You say, we're gonna check all, we're gonna chop all blinds, or we're gonna chop blinds unless we have, a jackpot hand, and then we'll check it
Like,
down. Yep.
like if it's a pair and a pair, because you could be
Right.
quad and quad.
And you
right?
both have to have it. You both have to have the jackpot hand. You look at each other going, like, you got a jackpot hand, and the dealer looks away and pretends not to notice the collusion because they want you to get the jackpot. They get tipped.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so, and when I first played live, I did not realize this. So when someone said, do you want to chop? I looked at my cards and thought, sure, I'll chop this hand with you. Then the next time it came around, I didn't want to. And it was explained to me in very strong terms that I was an asshole. And they, and
Oh.
once you do that, they go, sorry, no more chop for you. That this is over.
Okay.
The other exception is, and some people hate this, you know,
Is that like in Southern California?
Northern California,
North Carolina?
San Francisco Bay Area. And the other exception is this: if you're playing and you're 9-handed and it drops down to 5-handed or 4-handed, then you go, okay, if it's 5-handed, let's start playing blinds. But you say that before the hand is dealt.
Okay. Got it.
And what my policy was when I was playing was I was saying, because the rake also goes down as there are fewer people. That's why it becomes worth playing the blinds.
Okay.
I was saying, let's play when there are 5 or less of us, and let's chop when there's 6 or more, because the blinds changed between the two, between 6 players and 5 players. The drop changed.
Yeah.
And most people said fine, and some people said, I don't want anything this complicated. You're being
But
you're being a
right.
jerk. And then we either said, all right, we're gonna chop all of them or play all of them.
I don't want anything this complicated when I'm playing one of the most complex games on the planet.
Exactly. And there were people,
No, no, go ahead.
and back when I was learning, now this part is limit poker, not no limit. When I was learning, I also said, I want to play all the blinds, because if I don't play the blinds against you, I'm only going to play the blinds against the few people in this casino who do play blinds, and they're all better than me at playing blinds because they play blinds. So if I only play blinds against the good people and I never get to play blinds against the people who don't want to, I'm at a tremendous disadvantage. Therefore, I'm going to play the blinds all the time. And that was not liked. There were people who very much disliked me for that, and other reasons. There are many reasons to dislike me, but that was one of the reasons they did for a while. And it was, I mean, I was costing both of us rake, but I just have to learn to do this. And that's why I'm here, is I'm here to learn.
Is that exclusive to California or like the casinos
No,
over there, that rule?
I would expect you're going to find that in most live casinos if there's a drop. In Vegas, it's certainly true. Unless you're
Yeah,
playing a timed game.
I've played in casinos all across the country, and it's the same thing.
Okay, I'm gonna definitely ask about that, because I mean, you're supposed to be a losing player in the small blind, right? You're losing overall.
Right. And so
You
you
are.
just play blinds because both of you are losing to the casino is what you're doing.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
Moving
One more thing about that. Do any of you have argument? Sorry, sorry, my timer went off. Do any of you have a argument for like tipping the floor, or like talking to the floor about good games, soft games? I mean, is there an edge for that? Is there an edge there?
I tip the dealer every hand and I don't tip the floor.
Right. I mean,
I tip the
maybe
floor
this is like
at
higher.
I tip the floor on jackpots. I've never tried to do that thing of asking the floor what's a soft game.
Yeah, this is probably more like maybe more like high stakes games.
Maybe you
Yeah.
should. I don't do it. Anybody else do it?
Anybody else
Tipping
like
the
no?
floor? No, I've never tipped the floor.
No, because like there's some pro, like I know this is not I don't know if it's a thing, but like some pros have told me, one pro on poker coaching, guy's name, the Asian dude, he was like, yeah, you could also gain an edge by, like, he was telling me, oh, talk to the floor, sometimes I even tip them and they tell me that when the games are good. And
Yeah,
blah,
Skate, these are high stakes players who are looking for like big whales. It probably doesn't apply to us who are playing like 2-5 and
Yeah.
1-3.
Yeah, just get your
Okay.
front down. Don't worry about that stuff for another 2 years. In 2 years, ask and ask someone better than us.
I hope so.
I mean, yeah, Jonathan will talk about that sometimes when he used to have his Monday chat sessions. His
Yeah.
Monday coffees, he would talk about that kind of stuff, but
Yeah.
agreed, we're probably not quite at the stakes for that. Is
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
We have
he would
some,
do it when he was playing 10-20 and 25-50. He would, he'd make friends with the floormen, and they would call him when there was a really good game or a big whale would show up. And he would tip those guys for doing that. But you're not going to get floormen calling every 1-2 player to say, hey, there's some guy here with a $400 stack.
yeah.
That's blowing
Yeah,
it away.
it's your job to spot the drunks and etc.
And
Okay.
before we move off this, I just for the story of it, in the 30-60 limit game in Emeryville, there was a guy who was particularly loose and wild, and that game was the biggest game in that casino, was the 30-60. And they had a text group, and the text group would go out and it would say, you know, games on, game starting in an hour, you know, like this, to bring people in, you know, to the guys who played this game. And when that guy showed up, the text stream went out and said, hey, who wants to play with? And they had his name on there. And he didn't mind. He wanted the action. He didn't mind being the action player at the table. You know,
Ready to gamble.
yeah, it's like, let's gamble, boys. And he had plenty of money, and there was nothing he liked better than breaking people who thought they were pros.
Hey, hey, Scotty.
Yeah.
Since you play Alive a lot, it seems like, or I have in the past.
Yeah.
Tipping dealers, did you tip when you would just raise and take the blinds? Did you tip every single pot you won, or was there a
No,
sort of
No, I did.
threshold?
You tip you absolutely tip any hand where there's a flop, if it gets to the flop. The question is, if you raise and take it, do you tip on those? And I usually did, but not exclusively. And I watched around the table, and people didn't always. I also noticed that in chopped pots, it was common for the dealer not to get tipped.
Yeah, same. I don't tip all the time, and
Right.
when I do tip, it's usually gonna be like $1.
Yeah,
Except for
I
like, you know,
did. I always
jackpots.
I tip $1. Except, you know,
Yeah.
I didn't tip the floorman unless there was like, if you won an aces cracked and the floorman went and brought you the money, you would tip the floorman. I was always friendly with the floorman, but I wasn't a tipper. I was of the belief, and this is not real poker etiquette, so I don't know why we're bothering to say it, but I was of the belief that when you split a pot, the player with the worst hand, you know, the player who got saved by the river to get it for a split pot was the one who should tip.
I don't think it matters. I mean, if I don't like you, I'm not gonna tip you. It saves me
Well,
money.
yeah.
But
Well,
it's
it
a lot of
doesn't
money over time
But it's, you know, it's
if
part
it's
of,
more than $1.
like, it's like with a waitress. It's expected in the deal. It's expected. The dealers are paid an amount of money that is included, that they're expecting tips. And I think it's totally reasonable to tip them. And you just,
Yeah.
the dealer should get $1 for every hand they deal from the person who takes the pot, I think. Moving on.
Yes.
Fold, 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 fold. King deuce. No, I'm wrong. King deuce suited can raise there. That's a good raise. That's a good raise. Fold, fold. All right, there we go. Raise the king eight suited and get folded around. Raise the ace king suited and get folded around. Fold the ace seven, raise the ace queen, and the king queen should defend. And the king queen should defend by calling, not by raising, I think. And he does, and let's see if that's true. That's hijack versus button. Hijack versus big blind. Hijack raise. Crunch, crunch,
I'm
crunch.
gonna
crunch.
step away, guys. Be back in a minute.
All right. The lovely big blind, king, queen, mixes. Okay. Good enough. That makes sense. If you wanted to simplify this range, I would take out all the ace, queen, ace, jack, and ace 10 raises, the queen, jack, and the queen, jack, and shove all those into king, queen. Raise the king, queen pure. Raise the ace, queen suited pure and lose this edge, maybe. Something like that. All right, but he takes it now. Check range, good. Ace queen on a king high board. It's marginally made, so I should check. I have the queen of spades, so I can bet. A king is bad for the big blind, so I can bet. The big blind has a king, so I'm sure I'm gonna bet. And he can just check raise this right off the bat, and he can check call. He check calls, and I got the bad news. I should not continue. I don't. And the 7 comes, and he makes it easy for me by not allowing me to bet the river. What do you guys think of his river bet? Should he bet the river to try to get called by my queens and jacks and tens, or should he let me try to bluff it off? What do you like better?
Well, considering the pre-flop raiser check the turn, it's more unlikely they're gonna bet the river, I think. Um, maybe yeah. So just like bet because it's gonna often go check check. The pre-flop raiser does not have any sevens except for 7-7 because they're not opening, I mean, or maybe like partial 8-7 whatever. But other than that, yeah.
I bet those on the turn. I did not check with a flush draw. I did not check my set on the turn. I did not check my 2-pair on the turn. I bet it. Yeah. So I have no sevens here ever.
Yeah, yeah.
Could have
Except for 7-7, maybe.
At 7-7, I bet 7-7. I played it differently.
Yeah, we
Um,
bet on turn. We just said that. Okay, true.
So looking at this, I don't hate anything about his play. I don't like that I lost. But the one thing I will say is, boy, am I happy that he made that bet and saved me the bluff. So in that case, maybe that wasn't a great bet on the river because it made me happy. Here we go. Moving on. Ace king raises and 9-6 suited should absolutely defend because he's got a spade draw, and a spade draw is very valuable. 9-6 suited 3-bet. This is not in range, I don't believe, of a 3-bet. That is what I think. But I'm probably wrong. There's probably some of that. It's not going to go well for him. Ace king suited should 4-bet this from the button. He shouldn't slow play this.
No, there's no 3-betting 9-6.
I didn't think there was. In the old poker coaching range, there's probably a little bit of something around there. Let me see. No, it's 9-7. It's not going to be 9-6. It's going to be 9-7. And now the 9-6 has got to fold. Good. All right. Let's see how egregious. Fold, button raise. Big blind has nothing in the 9-6, but it has it in this region here. So wrong, but not egregious. If 10-6 does it, 9-6, while not good, is not insane. When 8-6 does it, when 9-7 does it, it's not the same level of egregious. And just taking a look at the old one. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Here we go. 100 big blinds, position, big blind versus a raise from the button. Because I just remember there being that. I remember this area down here. Yep. So here in the poker coaching one, it all wraps around it. All of these do it. 10-6, 10-7, 9-7, 8-7, 8-6. 9-6 never does it. But again, that can't be as negative EV as I pictured it in my mind. And this was not the time to do it like that. And of course, let's see, I think the ace king suited is 100% 4-bet from the button, but I could be wrong about that. Now back to the new world.
So for all the pairs here, like nines is mixing. Nines plus is 3-betting.
Yeah, crunchy, crunchy, crunch. Yeah, 9s plus. Yeah, absolutely.
And then 7s more than 8s. Who's at 3-betting 7s there in the big blind that gets spotted?
I'm not 3-betting the 5, 6, 7s or 8s ever. I'm doing these all pure calls, and I'm probably betting the 5, 4, 6, 5 and 7, 6 too much. I'm betting them a little bit more than they say.
Okay, great. Off topic. How can I is tournament ranges similar in that spot, or are they going to be completely different?
Totally different. Tournament range. Every one of these suited hands is in it. There's not a suited hand that you fold, and all of these suited raises are gone here. There's a few of them. I think there's probably a few of them in the low ace range and low king range, but 100% call here, and most of these are calls like that. Totally different world.
Okay.
All right. Fold, 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 raise that jack 9, kids, and queen 10 defend. Don't fold that queen 10 there. You're up against jack 9. Oh well. Having happened, king 5, too small, just fold it. King 7 here, king 8, that kind of thing.
What's our worst offsuit combos that we're raising for? Oh, you have it right there, right?
I'm gonna go to it right now. We're gonna go to the small blind.
Yeah.
Right, so here, let's look at the button first. Let's look at how egregious the Jack nine was. The Jack nine was 0.04, 4 big blinds per 100 that you're giving up by not playing this perfectly. And my win rate in cash is 1.5 big blinds per 100 because I'm at least a winning player technically, but not very much. So
Rake back.
I got to get rake back. I don't get rake back from this.
Oh, it's
I'm-
ignition. Yeah.
I'm always folding king 8 and 10-8 there and jack 8. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, all the
But
Yeah.
king nine is mandatory, and here we go. Little combos on the king 8, king 7, but I'm way down there. So there you go. That jack 9 was too much. That jack 9 was too tight. Especially in the fast game, by the way. Extra tight. King queen raises, ace 3-bets him, king queen should fold. Look at the size of that exploitive 3-bet. He's saying, stay in. Please don't fold.
This
Please.
is an important, yeah, this is an important thing to pay attention to. I mean, this is not egregious. It's
Mhm.
not like 5 big blinds, but you're definitely, I mean, if you're paying attention, you can definitely see a super premium discount here.
And the reason that you can get away with this in the fast game is no one has seen you raise to 9 big blinds every other time and all of a sudden drop to 8. Because they don't know it's you. So you can get away with this nonsense. But yeah, that's an important thing to sniff out. I do it sometimes.
Yeah.
Yep, okay.
yeah.
Fold, king, queen. Fold, 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 fold. Let's just fold around to the king 3 and be done with his hand. All right. Fold.
Yeah,
fold,
I also
fold, fold.
fold. I
Yeah.
also like you know, sometimes sizing down with my like we just saw with value and sizing up with bluffs.
Yep. As long as they don't figure out that's what you're doing. They figure out that's what you're doing, it's suicide. But if they don't, it's
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
King 9 raise, ace 9 fold, jack 3-bet, and let's go to a flop. Nope. That is too tight. That is 100% raise, the king 9 there. You should be 100% raising king 8 here. You should be mixing 7, 6, 5 here. That's what I think.
Especially with your broken stack.
Oh, I didn't even notice the broken stack. But look at that. 8s and above, 100%. Little mixing, and the 6 doesn't even mix. Little mixing there. That's way too tight. And that's why he has a broken stack. All right. But now, Larry, does the king 9 suited go up in value or down in value when your stack is shorter stacked?
I think it goes up.
Okay.
And that's because I think any kind of high cards, any king X or any ace X goes up in value because you have less reverse implied odds.
Right. Yeah, there you go. That's why it's better. I wasn't sure why. I was thinking that its suitedness goes down in value because you have less to win, but
You,
its risk goes down. So yeah, it's
you
better.
risk less stacking off a top pair.
Right. So the ones that go down in value is the 9-10 suited and the 8-9 suited. Those are the ones that drop down in value a bunch.
Those are the ones that most significantly feel, because their implied odds
Right.
are plummeting.
Right.
As well as the low pairs.
Right.
But I think your best example would be your low suited connector.
Right. And then also, yeah, your low pairs go down for that reason. And your ace 5, ace 4, ace 3 goes down because they play their other aces.
Yeah.
You know,
I think that
the
makes
king
sense.
9, they don't play all the kings necessarily to the raise, but they play the aces. And so you get dominated like that.
Yeah.
Because king 9 can get king 10 to fold.
Yeah, king 9 should, get king
Should
10
be a
off to
raise.
fold.
But having not raised, that's going to mean the king 5 should probably call these jacks. The ace 9 raises. This is,
So this feels like, I think this is an obligatory 3-bet here.
yeah,
You're not super thrilled about it, but I think you got a 3-bet.
100% because we don't have a calling range and we're never folding jacks.
Yep.
So this is a 7 point.
What
I think the ace 9 is too early, but not egregiously early. Hijack.
what
No.
pairs can we start folding there? 8s? or
There-
8s or 9s. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I don't know. I haven't learned this. Yet.
What? Yeah, like what pairs do we
What do you
fold in the cutoff?
What do
We're
you
gonna
say?
mix, I
I
think,
would say
and it really depends on stack size. I
Yeah.
mean, you're really, what you're most concerned about are, what are your implied odds if you hit a set? And then let's talk, that's just theory. Let's talk about humans. I mean, it's nice to have a little bit of an understanding of the way that your villain plays. And if he is capable of making the error of stacking off with top pair, facing sustained aggression. I mean, he's got to mix calls,
Yeah.
obviously. I mean, in a balanced world, but is he, how much of a station is he? And if he's more of a station, your low pairs go up in value.
should we be playing like this, like we are studying, like, oh, never have a cold calling range.
I think it's a good one.
Uh,
Yes. In a live rake environment, I like this 3-better fold strategy from all positions except for the button. Bunch
like
of hands you're not going to get to play that other people are going to play, but I think it is a very good strategy to have. It's not the only good strategy, and it's an easier strategy to implement. So I would start with that one. And
Okay.
then in a year or two as a winning player, say, gee, could I make more money with some calls? That's what I think. I don't think that there are other GTO principles that we don't, and mostly what they are is they're the how wide do you have to call principles, because those are based on GTO bluffing frequencies, and nobody is reaching GTO bluffing frequencies in general. So that GTO principle is not great, but this one I think is great, and he does it.
Yeah.
If this was just a single raised pot, that king 5 suited I think needs to play in the big blind, but here he just folds, and the ace 9 needs to fold because he barely needed to be there. Great. Let's look at that king 5 real quick against just the hijack and the cutoff, just to remind ourselves. On the hijack raise, the big blind king 5, 100% plays. Look at that. All the suited kings mixes with raising. And against the cutoff, even more so. Big blind, all those kings play, and the king 5 doesn't bother to raise, but the lower ones do. All right, there we go. Well played by everyone. Well played by everybody. Fold around to the 7s. Queens raise, ace jack does not fold. And against the hijack, I'm going to guess this ace jack does a fair amount of calling. There's the raise. That king 7 folds always. And he does the 3-bet. Hijack.
I don't think we do much 3-betting with ace jack off, do we?
I'm
I
wrong.
mean,
We're both wrong.
we do.
100% 3-bet or fold.
Oh.
No call. There are some calls on that button, but they do not live in the offsuit branch. This is the thing to just memorize and learn right now. You and me, Skate. We're gonna get this. This is not like a tournament. Lose that ace queen offsuit call to simplify your life, and just say there is no calling in the offsuit branch against the hijack. Let's look against the cutoff.
Even in real life.
Yeah, I'm saying in real life, do this. None against the cutoff. If there's none against anybody, we're not going to do this. None against the hijack, because that little bit is not worth learning. Under the gun.
Right. And when they 4-bet, then
Gun.
obviously we fold.
We fold these and we jam those. Or
Yeah.
something. Okay. And
Okay.
under the gun, against the button, same thing. The hand that did it all the time was the ace queen offsuit. But I mean, you can either say I'm going to do it sometimes with ace queen offsuit, or you can do the thing that I'm going to do from now on, which is just never do it. Now let's just go 9 max and see how this goes out. See if this is our new heuristic. All right.
Yeah, like against first to act, maybe ace queen off is kind of too wide, right?
I'll find out. We're going to find out. He raises. Here we are on the button. We got a lot of folds here. You don't need to learn that.
Yeah.
But still, you're tighter, but you could do this without any calls. Let's do the under the gun 1 instead.
So I saw ace king off there is calling.
I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go from here. Yeah, there's some. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
I'm just
Okay.
making sure that this doesn't change nine-handed. Same thing. Same thing. Low jack. Same thing. The ace queen is the one that does it some. So if you want to start doing it with ace queen now, fine. I'm going to choose not to. I don't need that little bit there. Under the gun one. Yep. So here we go. The big takeaway. If you don't fold, I mean, if you don't call at all in the offsuit branch on the button against a raise, you are not losing much EV and your life becomes much simpler. Yeah. So you see this ace king here?
Yeah. How do we play that?
I'm just
against
gonna
UTG?
raise it. I'm gonna raise it 100% pure. And I'm gonna fold the ace queen. I'm gonna move the ace queen raise into the ace king. And I'm gonna pick up those extra calls somewhere in the suited branch. You know, like I'll call the nines pure. You know, I won't fold nines ever. Something like that.
Yeah, maybe raising ace king off and suited to not keep in the blinds and just making a heads up.
Right. And to just simplify my life. Just to simplify my new life, that there are no calls across any positions except for the button, and the button only calls pairs and suited hands when it calls. No offsuit hands, no offsuit hands, no offsuit hands. Have I made my point? That there'll be no offsuit hands calling?
No offsuit hands.
Excellent, excellent.
Thank you.
So this ace jack is great and is not going to work out well for him. The queens can four bet and they can also call. They can be happy in either way. This time,
Yeah.
right. So we are,
Mostly three betting, right? Against button.
I
I'm
think
assuming.
Jack's mostly call and the queens are gonna just barely call, raise more, but it's almost 50-50. That's my memory, but my memory. Let's
Really?
find out.
I think okay.
We're gonna find out. So we're on the button. I'm sorry, we raised the button, three bet us, and now it's back on us in the here. Oh, look at that. I'm so wrong.
Wow.
Pure.
Pure.
It isn't down to
Pure.
tens or nine. Yeah, just lose all your money against aces. All right,
Yeah, I thought it was call because you said call, but
here we go.
okay.
There he does it, and now the ace jack just has to fold. And his size, he went to 2.2. That's probably small. This is probably more like a 22 instead of a 18.
Yeah, so it's small.
Yeah, 22. And since this guy only went to 8 instead of 9. Oh, wait a minute. This guy was a 2.5er. This 8 is actually big. He didn't go to 7.5. Yeah. So it's normally 7.5 and then 22. At 8, this should be 22, 23 now.
The interesting to see
24.
he's got the pot odds to call. He really shouldn't with this even with
Right. Yeah, he's got the pot.
he's going to be dominated too often.
Yeah, he's got the pot odds to call, but his problem is he doesn't know whether his ace is good or his jack is good. He believes one of them is good.
Yeah.
Against queens, his ace is good, and against ace king and ace queen, his jack is good, and he doesn't know which one.
Yeah. I mean,
That's
this is auto fold.
Yeah, and as you see, and as you will see, even though you're getting the right odds against the vast majority of his range except the aces, this is an auto fold with a sliver of I'm a nutbag. You don't need to learn this sliver here. You can just not do that. All right, there we go. There's the queens. Ace 8 suited raises and the queen 10 folds to the low jack, I would think.
Yeah, it can fold. I mean, it's such a shitty hand against GTG.
Yeah, I think so.
I think ace 8 is too
Yeah.
too early, right?
Oh,
I mean,
it's suited.
for this.
It's
You play
suited.
Yeah,
off suited aces.
Early.
Yeah,
What do you mean early? Look at it. Look at it, skate.
What-
Look at it in all its red, pink loveliness.
So
This-
the way to think
Sure.
about it, maybe Skate, is that you're 100 big blinds deep, right? So you want to have the ability to make hands that are invulnerable. All the suited aces are invulnerable if they make a flush, not including a pair board. But you get the point. You
Yeah.
want to make nutted
Yeah.
hands, so you're going to play hands that can make the nuts.
Okay, so like ace nine and ace eight are kind of indifferent, right? Because like for some reason I don't like ace six,
Okay.
ace seven,
No, not in this case.
and ace
You
eight.
don't like them, you don't like them when when you're raised.
Yeah,
That's what you start considering. The pre-flop, those are all raisers. And let me show you
Okay.
something, let me show you something in terms of range memorization here. We're gonna go back to the 9 max here. I want you to look at a pattern here without worrying. We're not gonna worry about the frequencies of the king fives here. We're just gonna note where the raises come from. And what you're gonna see is, you're gonna see the suited aces. You know, this is 9-handed. We don't have the 3 and the deuce. They're gonna come in, you know, they're gonna work their way in. Under the gun 1, under the gun 2. By the time the low jack is there, they'll be there. But it's gonna be all the suited aces, the suited kings from the 5 up. These are gonna start filling in here. And these are gonna expand, but this part of the range, the aces and the kings will stay relatively stable throughout the whole thing. We have, just for raises there, we're gonna hit the fold there. So here we go. You see it? The 4s and from 5 up. The 3 from 5 up. The 3 full, 5 up. Low jack. The 3, 5 up now almost pure. Hijack. I'm sorry, I said 3. The deuce all the way up, a tiny bit of 4. The cutoff now adds the 3 in. And then the button is all of them. But did you see how stable that, you know, every ace 3 and above or 2 and above after the low jack and king 5 and up? That's just so simple.
Yeah, it starts to get wider. But like
Yeah.
one thing I'm kind of wondering, king queen off. Can we start folding that like first act UTG
No.
9-handed?
Oh, first act in low, first act,
No,
not
no,
even 9-handed, not even 9-handed. It's a pure open 9-handed.
but there's some folds there, I think.
No,
0.
you don't need
No,
it. There is. Don't learn that.
open it pure.
Yeah. Don't open king, you open this pure and don't open king jack. Don't make
Okay.
that mistake. Don't do that. Open this pure.
Okay.
If you want to play tighter and simpler, never open ace jack, always open ace queen. You know, shove that in there and make your life simple. If you want to play more aggressive, pure. And if you want to play slightly, because I mean, look at what the difference is. This is, what is it? The percentage is, I gotta go strategy, not EV. So it's 77%. So you're gonna fold 1 out of 4 of them. I don't need to learn that. I need to learn it at around 70%. I don't want to be doing it 100%. At 77, I don't care. All right, here we go. Ace 5 suited, raise and take it. Good for you. Fold to the ace 9. Good for you. Fold to the jack 10. Good for you. Now we're playing the fast game, and I think people play better pre-flop fast because they're playing so many hands, they know those ranges and they're not getting bored. One of the
Yeah.
things that makes people widen their ranges is they get bored.
Yep.
So you don't have that. So maybe that's a reason not to play the fast game. I don't play the fast game anymore. The reason I played the fast game in the first place was I didn't have confidence in my own tells, like the mistakes I was making, that the other people around me would be better and see that I folded too much or something like that. So I wanted to stay anonymous.
Mm.
And now I'm more comfortable with that. And so now I think I want to see how they play so I can take advantage of them. But I thought I didn't want to let them take advantage of me. So I started with a fast game, and it was very good for me.
Does
That makes
anyone
sense.
use?
It does teach you a very heavy way to play. I mean, people play,
Yeah, you know
I mean,
nothing.
the level of play is a lot higher.
Right. And you know nothing about your opponents, so you are only trying to play the generic opponent. And you play so many hands pre-flop that you get your pre-flop ranges down. My problem was that I played the old poker coaching ranges pre-flop and I knew them old. And now I'm learning the the wizard ranges, and I haven't memorized them all yet. As you can see, which is why I keep looking back at it.
I mean, people make 200, people make a living playing 200 now.
209 nil fast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
You can watch CG,
Yeah.
Twitch guy, he plays every day.
There we go. So, folds around to the ace 9. Great. Look at all this. They're just playing exactly the way we say. Folds around to the jack ten. King eight, raise on the button. And get the folds. Yep. Goes to 2.2. You can also do that nonsense if you're playing the fast game. You can vary your bet, you can vary your opening raise size without giving off any tells.
Yeah, that's
They
nice.
don't know who you are.
That's a nice fringe benefit.
I was doing that when I was playing, and Brad Wilson chastised me for it. And his reason, he had a good reason, which was learn the right strategy. You know, not because how will you know if your strategy is working if you're doing these variable raise sizes? And he made the mistake of asking me that question. So I answered him. I said,
Uh-huh.
well, my strategy includes the variable raise sizes. So I'm learning whether the variable raise size strategy would do it. At which point both Brad and I agreed that I was not the right student for him and he was not the right coach for me.
This is Brett Wilson?
Yeah.
How much was he now?
I didn't know. This was in the public, the webinars.
The webinar?
I did not hire him for it.
I thought it was Brad Owen, the actor. So
No,
Did you,
the actor loves the way I play.
Have
Brad
you had,
Owen.
one-on-one coaching in the past?
Only with you, Larry.
I'm sorry.
All right. Fold. Fold, raise, fold. Let's get that raise on the button. He's got it. Oh, that's the guy. Somehow we went backwards. I don't know how that's at. Are we at the end of the sequence? Nope. They just, hands were the same. Fold, ace eight. This is a fold there. That's too early. 10-8 suited, that's a raise.
Yeah, you should take
Raise
it.
and take it. He does. And he goes to 3 big blinds to make it more convincing, and that's me.
Hey, does anybody use timing tells online?
Yes, and I also try to broadcast them.
Yeah?
Yeah, I find especially in a game where you're not gonna be there for that long. When you have the nuts, I do let the clock tick all the way down as if I'm trying to make a decision, and the number of bluffs that I get. I don't know if they're higher because I didn't do it the other way, but I'm very happy with the number of bluffs I get for that kind of slow play. So
I would say
broad-
the first thing you work on is not calling quickly with your draws
I was gonna say that.
out of position.
because they're just so obvious that you've already made your decision.
Yeah, it's
Well-
really
well-
obvious if you just flash call with your draws out of position, what you have.
Yeah, I would
'Cause,
also
yeah,
that when you're gonna bluff the river and the card that comes on the river is an equity changing card, you should not bet it fast. Because if
Okay.
you had value, you would be thinking about it. If you had value on the turn, the equity changing card would make you think, do I still have a good enough hand to bet? Can I thin value bet this? If you
Right.
had the equity changing card and you went bluff, and it came, you would take a breath and go, oh, I got there. Then you'd look at the board and go, am I afraid now? Did this help somebody else, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what about taking too long? Is that bad while bluffing?
I
Or
don't
does it
know.
matter?
I don't know.
Okay, so just don't like quick call or don't do it quick.
I just know that if you're on a bluff, because the decision to bluff is an easy decision to make, right? If you've decided I'm gonna bluff the
Yeah.
next hand, no matter what the card is, you don't care, and so you just bet right out. How good your value hand has to be that you don't care what the river is, that you're gonna bet, you bet pot, is rare. So therefore, an opponent paying attention can say, you couldn't have decided that bet sizing before, in the amount of time that flop was there, so you didn't care about the river. And that's
Yeah,
rare. So that's
I
why-
see it now. Like you don't want to give off any you don't want to let any of their spidey senses tingle by you playing your hand incorrectly.
And you could also do this. You could be Chris Ferguson. I mean, it's not going to hurt your life to do this and just never make a decision in less than 7 seconds. Just never do anything in less than 7 seconds, and you'll give off no tells at all. If you want to do
Yeah,
that.
I like that. I do that live.
Chris used to sit there and he'd count, and when he'd make he would count to 30 every time. That's how much time he took all the time. And I'm going to tell you a story when we're done with the recording about Andy Block. So tens should raise and the king queen should defend, and the king queen should defend by mixing raises and calls. Raise. This time he calls. Let's see if that's true. Tens should raise. We're in the low jack. We're in the 6-person game. Let's go back to the 6-person game. Ten should raise, and big blind, king, queen, mixes, raises, and calls. We saw that before. So he checks. You do not need to range bet ace small boards in cash again, against the big blind. And this hand, if ever there was a hand that was marginally made, this is it. It turns out it needs lots of protection, but it doesn't know that. So I would not mind seeing a check. He bets small. That can't be wrong. Gets the fold. It's got to happen with some frequency.
Yeah.
Ace 3. What
Yeah.
do we do with this ace 3, Skate? We just talked about this. All the suited aces in the low jack.
So we are gonna raise all the suited
Darn right.
aces.
Darn right. And what's going to happen? They're all going to fold. And who are they going to fold to? Me. Yay. Fold, raise, right there. Fold, defend, ace 10 suited.
I think
Ace
our
nine
hero can
Line up to 3-bet.
either 3-bet or call.
We better call. And I think
Mm.
that it's just mostly 3-betting.
Mostly, well, you think so?
I think it's mostly 3-betting, but you can do both.
I
Let's
don't
see.
know.
Let's see how they do it. Cutoff. Big blind. No, these guys want to call all the time. This is different than the
Call.
poker coaching thing. Poker coaching had this as a 3-bet across from the 9 in the old days. Let's see which I do. I am a poker coaching student. And I managed to get a hand that I dominate to fold. Hooray. But I was out of position, so he had an advantage of winning the pot if I didn't do that. All right, this is gonna go badly for you.
True.
Or very badly for me. Ace king should raise, everyone should fold to the ace queen. The ace queen should be doing a lot of 3-betting there.
No, calling.
Calling, you think? You're right, I'm wrong.
Yes, against that position.
You're right. All calling. The king queen does it. The king queen wants the protection, the ace queen doesn't. Good point. All right, so he just does.
I guess
Well
you need suited.
played. Well played, my opponent. He's gonna check, I'm gonna bet, he's gonna fold. Nope, he's gonna call. That's gonna slow me down. He's gonna check, I'm marginally made now, I'm gonna check behind on this, I do. And when this jack comes, is he gonna now take this as a cue to bluff? It's gonna work if he does. Nope,
Yep.
oh well. Cause he's got ace queen and ace queen has showdown value, he thinks. No, it
Yeah,
doesn't.
now you feel better about your hand with the jack.
I feel better about
pairs.
myself in general.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. King, jack, raise and take it.
I don't find those king jack offs from there.
Take a look at them. This is low, remember, this is low jack. There's no such, this is low jack. One of the things to get out of our heads is this word under the gun 6-handed and under the gun 9-handed. There is no under the gun 6-handed. This is a bad name. This name is low jack because because 9-handed and 6-handed, this is basically the same position. There's a tiny difference according to something called bunching, but it really doesn't come in till the cutoff in the button, and we don't need to learn bunching.
True. I mean, like king jack off is supposed to be like the donk hand, some kind of like way of that. So maybe fold queen jack off. We
Here's
can start
where-
folding that.
Here's what it is. It's the difference. 9-handed, the true place where you have under the guns. There's no king jack here. The king jack in the next position is a sliver. It's just a sliver.
Yeah,
Hold on.
that's probably where I'm getting it from too. That I'm like so used to
There's
playing.
that sliver
Yeah.
in this is seat 9. So if you're playing live at 10-handed game, you should be even tighter, but this is 9-handed, or is this 8? No, this is 9-handed. Yeah, good. So
Yeah.
no king jack, sliver of king jack, under the gun +2. There's about a quarter of king jack, I think. Yeah, quarter of king jack. But by the time you get to the low jack, 100% low, 100% king jack. So 6-handed game, this is all the way in. And it's not a compromise. This is a good solid raise. You're gonna fold it to a 3-bet, and that's fine. The queen jack is the mix. This is a good solid raise, so much so that king 10 is even in there a little bit.
Are you mixing queen jack and king 10? Or just queen jack?
I'm doing the mix there, yeah.
Okay.
I do a frequency mix based on suits. And I do it mainly so that we can, for traceability, when we do the reruns. I do it so that I know why I did something.
Okay.
So this king jack is a raise and it should get, and it gets through like it should. This king jack is a raise and should get through. Oh no, we're done. We've just reached the end of the sequence. Have we? Yes. Have we?
GG.
No, wait a minute. Are these alternating? No, we jumped ahead. Something. We didn't. I jumped ahead for some reason. These are not GGs. I mean, we can
Okay.
stop if you want.
I can go a little bit more.
Yeah, I'll go a little bit more and then I'll tell you a story. There's the king jack we just did.
Break
Here's-
it up a little bit. Tell us the story now.
All right, I'll tell you a story now. So this is years ago. I got to play in a home game with Andy Block. And we were playing for no money, we were playing for like $10 or something like that. And the reason was because a friend of mine was going to play poker on television. And he was learning to play poker, and he lived in Vegas, and he had access to the best players in the world. So he had Andy Block and how am I spacing his name? He's got 11 bracelets. He lost to
like-
Johnny Chan. He lost to Johnny Chan he lost to Scotty Wynn.
Scotty went.
Famous
Oh,
hand.
Vin-
Seidel.
Yeah, Eric Seidel. Thank you. I had the picture of him in my head.
Yeah.
Eric,
Ace on the river.
and so those guys, yeah, and so those two guys were friends, and so of his, not of mine, and so he was learning to play poker, and they needed more people to play. So I got to play with them in these, little home game tournaments that were done specifically to teach this guy to play poker. So we got to talk about hands. And this is before I had studied No Limit at all. I just sort of understood something about the language of poker. And I raised with pocket 7s, and he called me with pocket 9s, and the flop comes ace XX, and it comes on me, and I think to myself, shit, there's an ace there. That's, the one card I don't want to see. And then I think, of course, it's also the one card you don't want to see. So I can bet this. So I bet, and he calls, and the turn is a blank, and it goes check, check, and the river is a blank, and it goes check, check, and like that. And at the end of the hand, I turned to him and I said, because we're allowed to ask questions in this thing. I said, why did you call me? With the ace there, because the ace is in my range, and you've got, the 9s there. And this is before solvers. And what he said, because when you saw that ace, you thought to yourself, wow, I've got a pocket pair, and that ace is bad for me. But it's also bad for my opponent, so I can bet it. And I said, how do you know that? And he said, because that's how long it takes to think that.
The timing.
Timing. And I said to myself, you're better at this game than me. Now,
Yeah.
also, now that what we've learned from solvers, there's a little bit of showing offness there, because also 9-9 is an easy call against one bet out of position when you're in position and you see what the guy does on the turn, right?
Yeah.
It's, it's the one we say, I haven't lost enough money yet.
Yeah.
It's not like I jammed. I made probably a half pot bet, because back then all I knew was half pot bets. And so it wasn't that hard, but still, that's my story.
That's
That's all
pretty
we
cool.
knew back then.
So what got you into poker?
A friend of mine named Tim Kelly, another juggler, had a weekly poker game. This is it was all limit poker. Actually, back then it was all mixed games, crazy games, Widow and Nasty Night Baseball and all those things. It was dealer's choice, and we just called crazy games. And we played every Wednesday or every Thursday. And I fell in love with the game because of the language of poker. And what I mean by that is, before you know how to play poker at all, before you know any of the math or anything about it, you're trying to figure out why would you do something, and you figure out that you should bet when you have a good hand and you should fold when you have a bad hand. Like you figure that out pretty early. And you watch people who are winning at the game. And you start to go, when people raise, you go, how much do you need to raise somebody? Like if you've got an ace and there's an ace on the board, should you raise? It's like, no, this is limit poker we're playing. It's like you should only raise if you have a very good kicker or if you've paired your kicker. So that when there's an ace on the board and you bet, you're saying to your opponents, I have an ace. When they raise you, they're saying, I have an ace with a very good kicker or better. When you 3-bet them, you're saying, I have 2 pair or a set. Does that make sense? That's
Yeah.
what language means. And you can respond to that.
Yeah.
And that's really interesting to learn that language, except for in poker, after every statement, there's a little asterisk that says, unless I'm lying.
Yeah,
Because bluffing is an integral part of our game. And therefore, the unless I'm lying is there. But because in limit poker, lots of hands go to showdown, there's a cost to lying. So you can't just blindly make the statement, I have a set or better, and therefore you need to fold your ace king now to my 3-bet because I might be lying. And you have to figure out who lies and who doesn't, right? But it's not like no limit poker where most of the hands don't go to showdown, and so most hands should be bluffed. And that's what
Yeah.
fascinated me, was that. And then in certain games where you would draw cards, it made the most sense to draw 2 cards. But if you drew only 1 card, you gave off a false tell of what your hand was. So so if you've got a set, what? Say again? Oh, sorry.
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that's fine. So just that idea that everything in poker, except for the timing, this is true unless I'm lying, and there's a cost to lying.
Yeah,
If you were a machine playing perfectly based on odds, which is what I believe limit poker is focused mostly on odds and not implied odds.
hmm
And no limit is completely different. It's, that there isn't a cost, there's a cost to not lying in no limit. But you could play limit poker successfully and basically never bluff, only semi-bluff. And
just
only
understanding odds and equity.
and only semi-bluff with the hands, to get a free card and stuff. Just never bluff the river. You could play okay limit poker that way. It wouldn't be great, but you could probably be a net winner. And I made a lot of money playing limit poker. Pretty much that way. So anyway, that's the story.
Just
And-
by understanding pot odds versus
Yeah.
equity.
Yeah, just by the fact that I didn't make pot odds mistakes. I figured out an easier calculation than figuring out your percentages and having to divide.
Yeah,
There's an easier calculation where all you do is multiply and say, is that number bigger or smaller than 47?
okay.
And so I pretty much didn't make pot odds mistakes. I made other mistakes, but I didn't make pot odds mistakes, and I had a good set of fundamental pre-flop ranges that I played. They may not have been perfect, but they were good. And that was enough to win at limit poker, to win to win $100,000 playing limit poker. But also, this is over a lot of time. I probably would have made more money if I worked at Starbucks, but I enjoyed it more than I would enjoy playing at Starbucks. And then, as long as we're telling, I'll tell one other story, and then we'll get to one Scotty Hannon, we'll be done. This is just a very, very short Eric Seidel story,
Sure.
which is because my friend knew Eric Seidel and I didn't. I got to go to dinner with Eric Seidel, and because I owed my friend a favor, I was going to pay for dinner. So I paid for dinner for my friend, and because Eric Seidel was there, I paid for Eric Seidel. And he said, no, you don't need to pay for me. It's fine. I said, no problem. And he handed me 2 $100 bills. And what he said is, he handed me, he goes, don't worry, they make these here. And in Vegas. And I
They
accepted.
make these here.
They make these here. It's like, oh, okay. So those are my stories. All right.
That's a great line.
Yep. And we're just gonna go.
He
till-
seems like a kind of guy who is, he seems
He's a great-
incredibly intelligent, and soft-spoken, but I think he seems like a guy who would be enjoyable to spend an hour or two with.
He's a great guy. He taught a reporter to play who wrote a book on playing tournament poker.
The
And
biggest bluff.
yeah, which was great. He knew exactly why he was doing everything he was doing. And when he explained things, he explained them to the level that they should be. He was saying, this is not how you're going to play. You should play against people like me. This is how you should play against the people you're going to be playing against on television. This is how you should be playing against because the show was Celebrity Poker Showdown, if you remember that show.
I don't. No, that was before.
It was a show where the tagline for it was, they can act, but can they bluff? And Gabe Kaplan was one of the announcers on it, and it would have celebrities playing against each other. And they all played bad, except for the few who knew how to play. Because it turns out that as you know, that poker is not about whether you can hide your bluffs. It's about whether you make the right decisions of when to bluff. But he was saying,
now know.
these people are never going to bluff. This is how you play against them. If they're betting big, they have it, and just very simple play. And the whole point was to play well enough not to win the game. It didn't matter whether he won the game, but to play well enough to get the most television time, because his whole reason for being there was to become more famous. He was being on television. And so it was just really clear how they, the adjustments they made, saying, this is how you're going to be there for the longest amount of time. All right. So
I miss Poker After Dark.
Yeah, Poker After Dark was a good one. King Jack should raise and take it. The King 6 suited should not defend. Doesn't. The Jack 4 suited should raise and take it. And by the way, the Jack 4 suited should not take it. That Queen 8, that should defend. In the old poker coaching ranges, this is a defend. I don't know if it is in the Wizard, but this is definitely a defend. Small blind raise to the bigger size 3. Queen 8. Oh, Queen 8 is a 3-bet and fold in this range, so he's okay. But in the poker coaching range, this is a raise and call. The Queen 8. It's all the way down to Queen's. On the small blind, I think it's all the way down to Queen 7. Let's find out. Big blind versus the small blind. Big blind versus a raise from the small blind. Queen 8. Yeah. Look at that. Look at how different those ranges are. And this is, by the way, with the exact same assumptions, right? Maybe there's a rake difference. Maybe there's a rake difference. And this one also has this weird thing where the Queen 7 off folds, but the Queen 6 plays. This weird hole.
Yeah, I think the claim is that the Queen 6 off is always about being able to cooler the wheel
Yeah. Sure.
if it comes 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay. So the Queen 8 is too tight, and it's too tight in the poker coaching range and probably in this world too. All right. Folds.
Frozen
around-
just put something in chat. It looks like a poker coaching range.
Let's see that chat. Oh, I'm in the wrong thing. Zoom. See the Zoom chat. This is the new poker coaching range. Yeah. I was looking at the old one. The new one says Queen 8. It's out. It's a fold. Okay. Good enough. That's the new poker coaching range. Some other either redone or maybe there's some other maybe there's some differences in the rake. In the rake assumptions. All right. Ace 9. We just saw this Ace 9 and the hijack is okay, that this is a mix. So that's fine. And the 10s,
This is a fold.
pure fold in the new ranges.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Hijack.
Let's see. I could be remembering this wrong. I'm still learning them.
At
It's
50
not,
and
no,
out.
it's a mix. That's what we
Oh,
saw.
sorry.
Okay.
I
Saw that mix.
am full of shit.
And the ace five, the ace, and down to ace eight and ace five in the cutoff. And very, very heavy. If you missed this ace nine and didn't play it, that's fine.
What a nit am I?
What a nit am I, Sam I am. Right. So let's see what he does. He folds it. Tens raise. This will be our last hand because I'm gonna play it with a king jack. The
Okay.
king is not folding here. And the king queen three bets this and calls, mixes. So I think the king jack should be a pure call. And in reality, the button raises, the big blind, the king queen mixes, and the king jack also mixes. Matter of fact, it raises more. So my instinct was wrong. It's just mixing all along this world. And I have the jack of clubs, therefore I should call this and not raise it. That's how I do this frequency.
Yeah, it makes sense.
All right, so here we go.
Donkalicious.
This is a donkable flop, but this is before I knew about donking.
I gave you, my Phil Gaffon speech, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And for those of you who didn't hear it, real simple, it was, there are flops that are donkable, but if you never learn them, you'll still be a good poker player. Spend your time on something else.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, when you're ready to, when you've learned everything else, go ahead and learn donked flops.
I've also heard that from Jeremiah Williams.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
Two guys that don't shy away from complexity.
Right. So check, bet huge. There is no check raising on this board with this situation against that size. We are done. There we go.
Yeah.
And that is the poker coaching study session, cash game with cards heads up and stories about Vegas.
Well played, Scotty.
Let me hit the stop here. Stop share. Stop recording.